we could talk about those things. And for me personally, I'm a champion of having open conversations because otherwise you have to be ashamed of things, right?
Sure.
And I don't want to be ashamed of it.
But it still violates TOS.
Oh, well then, I have something to say.
Okay.
Okay, so, is Absinthe illegal on Twitch streams?
No, it's an alcohol. Just not. You just can't drink it in excess.
Cool. So, we had Duper's birthday party this past weekend.
Uh-huh.
And we bought Absinthe.
I'm
And
so
a couple
sorry
of us...
for you because it tastes like ass.
No, it's not so bad. I mean, like...
It tastes like ass. You
It
don't
has
have
a
to lie.
nostalgic taste for me,
If you
so
were
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, shut up.
But, okay, so a couple of us the next day, because I only had one. I can drink, but, like, with Absinthe, I'm going to be careful, because that's just... I don't want to. Don't want to push it. So,
Wait,
I had one.
I need clarification, though. With worm or without?
With.
Okay.
So, I had one. And a couple of us woke up the next day, and we were like, wow, we had some crazy vivid dreams. Well, last night was a pagan holiday, and also today as well, but a pagan holiday, so... It was Imbolc! So, Zach and I had an absinthe with dinner, right? And I didn't get to sleep very long for last night, but I did sleep a little bit. And I woke up, and I was like, I had an Irish dream. And not like I dreamed about Ireland, like I was in Ireland with rolling hills and beautiful, like you know, scenery and everything. No, it was in Gaelic. Like, the words were Gaelic. I do not speak Gaelic. The whole dream was simply in the language of the Fae.
That's, interesting.
Amazing.
I'm scared a little, but I'm also intrigued.
I had
You're
plans to
fully, getting into the mindset of Kida is what you're doing.
Yeah, basically. Actually, why didn't I do that? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not doing that.
I had...
Oh,
Wow.
Same.
Did you guys see that, did you guys see that clip that I put in chat?
I saw it, but I didn't watch it. I will later.
Caught red-handed.
No. I had plans to do some really fun stuff last night for Imbolc, but I felt like I was dying yesterday and didn't do anything but lay in bed all day, and I was sad.
I don't blame you. Yesterday was so draining. I made... not anymore. It was in retrograde, and it was also the moon was in Cancer.
Into retrograde.
It might have, but I know the Cancer retrograde just ended. Not too long ago. It may have been a week or so ago.
I thought it just came back into retrograde.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome
Might
to
have.
Friday Night Dice. Welcome to our Wednesday night
did.
campaign, The Castaways. How y'all doing tonight?
Mercury is in retrograde.
Until tomorrow, actually. I just looked. It ends tomorrow. It came back in on January 13th, and it ends tomorrow. So after tomorrow, it'll start to feel better.
I knew something was wrong. My chakras were off.
I'm sorry, you're what?
What?
Damn those
My
cockroaches.
chakras.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said. Uh-huh.
Enunciation is very important, Hanks. Oh boy.
My root chakra was up.
That's a big problem, actually. We should
It
talk
is.
about that.
It throws off everything.
You want to talk about hippy dippy shit for 4 hours? Let's go. Emma and I got this.
I think we're here to play
I went and
D&D.
got
Chakra,
my
I
very
think.
first Reiki healing session a couple weeks
I
ago.
want to do Reiki so bad.
That shit was life changing. I'll tell you about it later. It
Yeah,
was
let's rein it in
fucking
a little bit
wild.
so we can get started.
You want to know? I went to take a nap today, and Emma
Nope.
snuck some crystals on my chakras.
All right.
She,
Hell
put-
yeah!
She put rocks
So
on my
guys,
forehead.
last we
I
gathered,
put them on. I just put them on him. I didn't put them in anything.
I'm gonna start muting
Wait,
people.
wait. Can I tell one story? One thing? One thing. Please, Matt. Please.
Go ahead.
Okay, so it's almost Valentine's Day. And Zach got me the cutest fucking gift
Don't
ever
talk
in the
about
whole wide
this.
world. I'm serious. But he's a person that just like, you know, like if you get them a gift, they can't stop from giving. So I have my gift already because he gave it to me when I came in. Anyway, It's a little chocolate box, like a chocolate heart box that you get the chocolates in, but there's no chocolates. And you open it up, and it's the little rocks. It's the little crystals on the inside where the rocks go.
That's amazing.
And they're all sex rocks.
Amazing.
Zach, send me the link.
I think they're sold out, actually.
Okay. Last we gathered, we watched as our heroes, the Castaways, began their planning, their preparations for their fight with Zeltroy to start marking out what needed to be done with the little time they had left. Bartering with what supplies and gems they had gathered throughout their long journey across this island, they traded for some enchantments and improvements in the form of arcane tattoos. Not having nearly enough for everybody to receive one, but a few people gaining a bit of a boost. Scholar continued the reading of his book while the rest of you had a bit of some relaxation time for Kothar and some bonding with one of the local bakers here in town for the other three of you. As you joined her and caught a glimpse into the life of these people, the type of life this baker lives after her daughter was chosen during the last choosing to be Zeltroy's new wife, and when her husband stood up in defiance against him and his fate. So, as you guys met with her, talked with her, made some delicious croissant-like baked goods, you eventually left and met with Astoria. After having a short conversation with her and beginning to see if she would be able to help you and how she might feel about the situation here, trying to feel out her thoughts on this town, you guys took her to meet with her brother so that he could explain in full length the way the state of this town is. They had a short conversation amongst each other where some sibling rivalries came out. They also shared some conversations on some darker sides of their history. Some experimentation that Fulgrath used to use on this potion that he's given all of you that might not have been ethical necessarily. But after long deliberation and talking and getting to understand both of them a little bit better, Astoria agreed to help all of you. She wasn't going to let Akare go into this battle without having some backup. And whether it's because she doesn't believe the rest of you are good enough, or she just can't be there, she just can't stand not being there to help protect him, she has decided to join the five of you. After you guys began to set out your plan, as Scholar, Astoria, and Kothar join on the back of Dwayne the Rock Johnson, flying towards the ruins of High Pass off in the distance. The other three of you broke away to begin scouting the river's edge, looking for areas where you might be able to set a trap or an ambush of sorts where you could potentially set up with this transient pylon, a modified version of it, to create some sort of gravitational field to mount or ground Zeltroy to this area so that he could not run from you. Whether that is a good idea or a bad idea is yet to be seen. So we find Scholar, Astoria, and Kothar on the backs of Dwayne, rocketing across the sky, the ruins of High Pass just barely coming into view. Astoria looks over to the two of you. Where do we begin?
About 3 hours ago. How long did the flight take, Matt?
About an hour.
That's an hour?
It's a long flight.
No, I thought that seemed short. Could I have read during the flight?
Could get, we'll just call it an hour's worth of reading.
Okay. Let me take this. I'll, can I do like a history check or something of that kind to see if I know where a transient pylon would have been or would be?
You can. Or if you want, Kothar knows where one is.
I wouldn't know. I would just ask. I would say, I would try
Okay.
and just because, it's meta.
Yeah.
I'd say, we need to start by perhaps circling and finding a transient pylon to begin work on. And perhaps golems. I do know the location of several of those. Perhaps that should be a good first start.
She nods.
Oh.
Go ahead.
What's the transient pylon look like?
It's like a large shard of almost organic metallic material with large runes drawn all over it. If you remember, there was one that laid almost embedded in sand where you guys fought a roaming, almost massive dinosaur-like creature, but the area was under like this. The gravity around it was warped, and when you jumped a little bit higher, and sometimes it would change, and the gravity would feel heavier in certain areas, and the ground around it had been so pulverized by this gravitational force that the area around it was just almost like sand.
Yeah, no. I was asking if either of them could answer the question, because if not, I don't know if Kothar would remember where the hell he saw a transient pylon, because that was like 3 weeks ago in game.
We'll say Astoria
2
describes that sort of thing to you.
Then then Kothar would point out where the crystal was, because I don't think it was ever referenced as a transient pylon while he was staring at it.
Sure.
Yeah, it's and I'll point it out as we kind of circle overhead where the crystal and the probably now extremely pulverized corpse is.
Yeah, so the corpse, which I believe Kothar dismembered most of it to make javelins, if I remember correctly. No?
I don't remember,
but we'll say he did. The dismembered bits and pieces now faded into bone that have somewhat been crushed and turned into sand themselves lay about a large crater where you can see bits and pieces of ancient building lay and just a giant bowl of sand almost. And you can see the small blue glow come from the massive rune on the front of the pylon. And Story looks down. That should do. It's just going to be a pain to move.
Then perhaps we start by finding golems. And can I do...
Yeah, you can roll that history check for that.
Cool. Oh wait, I have keen mind. So... Does that apply in this case? Because I think I
you would know
within the last 30 days.
You would know their routes. You couldn't pinpoint where they were at this time of day.
Sure. So I would like to just say, I'd like to identify the most able-bodied, largest, strongest automaton and its route and express that information. Like, probably go for the biggest one that I think could be corralled with a joint effort.
Sure. There are multiple different ones, but they're all about the same size. Some are a little more armed than others. Like, some were more, you could tell, were armed with, like, large shields or these massive blades, some with cannons and guns, and others were just merely fists. And so you could tell that some were meant for moving.
Yeah, what the hands ones.
Yeah.
The nearest, hugest hand ones.
So, remembering and kind of tracking down through your mind's eye the path that these would take, you remember one just on the outskirts of the central tower that kind of encircles the outer area where a market once was. You know, it kind of patrols back and forth from a back point of the city back towards this market, and it's almost like it comes and goes, picking up a non-existent crate that probably was once there on a daily basis and walks it back to wherever it probably was supposed to deliver it back then, but is now just left to its daily chore even though it doesn't understand there's nothing there.
Okay, could I guesstimate based on time of day where it might be at this point on its route?
Maybe somewhere about the halfway point.
Okay, and I will say, I believe there is one potentially following its circuit at this point, and it should be at this location, which is here.
Well, if you think it'll do the job, I assume any of the exoskeletons here could handle lifting the pylon, assuming we can get it turned off.
Well, first things first, we cannot carry it in the first place without the automatons.
Agreed. It is going to take some time. Well, I guess this is where, and she turns to you, Kothar, I guess this is where your expertise comes in. We're going to need somebody to hold it to the ground while we at least get into its memory bank and try to shut it off.
I expected just about nothing less.
Well, should we take the bird closer in then?
Yes, to the tower.
I'll steer Dwayne.
As you begin steering Dwayne down, you can see a large, maybe about 10 foot tall, very almost bronze and rusted steel colored exoskeleton automaton walking through a main road. The road is graveled and a bit destroyed, with various elevations kind of varying as he walks through, but it seems as if he's got enough intelligence to where he can maneuver around the different sections, but not enough to where he doesn't realize he's not carrying anything. You can see both arms are out as if he would normally be gripping and carrying a large chest or perhaps some sort of crate, but there's nothing there in his hands. You can see the singular red eye on the front of his face just glowing as he meanders throughout this central road.
Meanders as well.
I will say, put us down about 1 mile in front of his route, and I'll point to a location.
Sure. Set us down.
Astoria kind of turns and looks to you. Just know that all of these automatons are built with a defense mechanism. If he senses hostility before you get there, he will react.
I understand.
I meant more for him. Getting a 2-ton metal fist to the face does not feel well.
I'll be fine. I felt it before.
I have a plan.
I'm listening.
Sure.
Dwayne drops you guys off maybe about 3/4 to a mile away from where the automaton is walking, and he's slowly walking towards you guys.
I'll put him back in the feather, so he's out of harm's way.
Sure.
I will, as soon as we land, I will say, "Good luck, Kothar," and I will touch him and I will cast invisibility on him.
Oh, okay. Astoria is kind of watching, and Kothar's body begins to shimmer slightly before fading from existence. And she looks around. That's a good trick to have.
Yes.
That'll certainly be different. I guess assuming the alleyway is big enough that he's not going to step on me, I'll kind of get off to the side. Actually, are there like buildings I could get up on?
Yeah, you could find a building next to one of the roadways most of them are in ruin from the crash of the city, but they're still intact enough to where you could get some elevation.
You sure you don't want him to step on you?
I'm good. Can I get about 15... Is there like a ruin where I could get about 15, 20 feet off the ground?
Just make a quick perception check for me, try and find something in his general path.
21.
Oh yeah, you could definitely find one. You're kind of looking around and you can see maybe about 15, 20 feet off the ground what used to be a 2-story building, but the front half of the section of the second floor has just been blown away and kind of just sits laying at almost an angle as if the building kind of, the foundation was fractured from the crash, but level enough to where you could stand and get to a perch to where you could jump onto this creature or this automaton.
That is my plan, and I will wait.
Okay. You go and go ahead.
I'll pull Astoria, or I'll like gently, politely point Astoria towards like a piece of cover very, very low on the ground and say, we should wait until the noise.
Gotcha. I will at least try to help. You can see Astoria kind of reaches in and like pulls out that same necklace and kind of is just gripping her holy pendant. As the automaton kind of like gets into view, is just below you, Kothar. You can see, you can kind of hear Astoria like whispering in your ear almost as she casts a message toward you. I will attempt to help. As soon as I draw its attention, you can go. So you will see as she raises her hand and she will cast a Bane on it. Unfortunately, it succeeds.
I will rage and jump anyway.
So as you're kind of watching out into the central street here, Scholar, you can see a bit of dust fly up from off of one of the buildings. And at just seconds before he slams into the automaton, you see Kothar's visage come back into view as he rages and slams into it. Go ahead and make that grapple check at advantage for me.
That's just athletics, right?
Yeah.
28.
Yeah, you fucking wreck it. You got a 13. So as you slam into the top of this automaton, sending tumbling and slamming to the ground, you can see its head and like its circuits. You can hear the rusted gears begin to turn as its head begins to turn and look at you. And it goes to try and swing at you as you're like pushing into it, but the force you hit him with just sends him flying into the building next to you on the opposite side of the street, and he is held to the ground. You can hear Astoria. Go ahead.
Oops, sorry. I will. The second he becomes visible, I will grab Astoria's hand and start sprinting, and say, "I need you on this." And I will cast an enhance ability on her and I will cast Fox's Cunning.
Okay. Well, I will be here to assist. I'll point out what we need to pull out. Just make sure we get the plate off the back of his head.
I have a steady hand.
You guys go sprinting across the field, and this automaton is sitting there, and he's trying to force Kothar off of him and push him against his back, but even though this is a 10-foot tall automaton, Kothar is a 7-foot tall, massive, hulking beast of a lizard man, and is holding this thing to the ground with ease.
Finger screwdriver comes out, like all five fingertips are screwdrivers, and I will just go straight for all the whatever lever.
As they come out, and you guys are like running over there, and you begin to like start grabbing him, and you just see a story. I need to get me one of those. Can you build me something like that?
Yes. Later.
Another day. Go ahead and make your tinkering check at advantage, and I will roll for her. And you do this often. Tinker's Tools is dexterity plus proficiency, correct?
Yep.
Intelligence plus proficiency.
I believe that's for you though, specifically.
I think it's just, I don't know. Don't quote me on it. I've been using intelligence for it. But,
I would probably say intelligence makes sense too, but I don't really want to rule on your own campaign.
We'll go with intelligence. It's better for her. She got a 19.
I got a 25.
Damn. With ease, you are able to pull out all the bolts and pulls it back, and you can see Astoria's right there, and she's pulling apart the various wires, being careful to not dislodge any of the circuits that are kind of attached to the brain of this automaton. And as she's like pulling them apart, she's like right there, and you can see there's like a metallic, almost gold and silver chip that's in the back of a large circular, what almost looks like a makeshift Aether Heart, but doesn't have the runes inscribed on it. It looks more something that's technological than more arcane. She looks at you, just pull it out.
Just kidding. I will, with a hand so steady, it looks like it's almost like the world is moving around it rather than it is moving. I will put my fingers in, grab it, and very confidently remove it.
As you very easily pull it out with your 25 Tinker's check, you can see that the red glow begins to slowly dim, and the two arms that are like currently wrestling with Kothar just both slam to the ground.
Very well done, Kothar. That was admirably brave.
Oh, thank you. It's quite easy when you almost as damn near tall as it.
Nonetheless, do not minimize your own accomplishments. And Astoria, congratulations.
She just looks at all of you, or the two of you, I should say. It's been a long time since I've had to do with these.
The same for me, but fortunately I have the muscle memory accumulated of constructing 113,614, and it returns quite quickly.
Well, that's good to know. Should we... Well, I mean, we can do it here, or should we take him to the lab and begin?
Kothar, are you capable of moving him?
Do I get the sense I could move this thing? Quietly?
Make a strength check for me. You could say at the end, you're still about into that minute of rage. You could probably,
It ends if I don't attack something or get attacked.
I'll ask Astoria. Astoria, is there a way to get very limited functionality to it in the short term? So that perhaps it could move itself? Or at least declare an intent to move?
if you have the tools for it. I'm afraid I don't think I have personally on me here.
I have any tool.
Well, we
Explain
can...
what I must do.
She goes through the process of like explaining to you how to reroute his circuit, and the way she's explaining it is very intricate. And if you didn't have her guidance, the way Torsion kind of built these automatons, you get the sense that you would not be able to reprogram the way they move. It's almost like his own special flair to the way they're built. But she knows the way her husband built things and knows him well enough to be able to walk you through it.
How long would it take, based on her explanation?
Based on her explanation, it's going to take you, with a good roll, 15-20 minutes. With a low roll, maybe an hour.
Okay. I want to make a judgment call based on how close we are to the center tower. Is it far enough that 15 minutes working here is worth it to at least get some semblance of movement?
Depending on how fast Kothar could, which depends on his role of moving the creature or the automaton, would depend on which way is more advantageous.
Let me ask this way: how far is it to the? How far is it to the?
The tower, to her lab.
Yeah, to the tower. The lab.
Maybe about a mile. It's not far.
Let us be sure we can carry it there.
12.
You kind of hulk it up over your shoulder, and the limp arms and legs are still dragging across the ground, and it is a heavy just beast of metal.
Honked at it.
You'd be able to move essentially at quarter speed to move it, which is slow.
Your call. It is very heavy, though.
I'll try here.
I think doing here might be the better option. If we had maybe a couple others, maybe your Aragonasi friend, or even if Anokai was here, we could possibly get it there with a lot more ease, but for one man, no matter how great the man, it's still something large to move on their own.
Absolutely. Okay. I will get to work.
Boto, if you don't mind, just lay him down with the face first.
Sure, easy enough.
I will drop her enhanceability and give myself enhanceability with Fox's Cunning.
Understood. So she kind of begins walking you through the different way the circuits kind of intersect with each other on this, whatever you want to call it. We'll call it what it is. It's a motherboard, essentially. And begins walking you through how the circuits kind of interconnect and how they tell this automaton what its daily functions are. And she begins walking you through how you need to change certain of them to be able to kind of reprogram it to what you want it to do. Go ahead and make a Tinker's roll for me.
Okey-doke. I'm rolling investigation because I don't know how to make a Tinker's roll. And then I'm just adding my expertise, blah, blah, blah. That one is a 28. Wait.
Pretty good.
Yeah, 28.
So as you're kind of starting to almost rewire the inner workings of this golem, it takes you about 20, maybe 22 minutes exactly, because you have keen mind to redo this golem. And then as you do and you slide the memory bank back into its core, you can see its eye begin to lighten, and it turns and looks to you, almost waiting expectantly for orders.
I'll look at Kothar, and I'll say, this seems like something you would enjoy. Would you like its command?
I'm fine. That seems like a lot of responsibility for something I only vaguely understand.
I understand. And I'll say, Automaton, what is your designation?
Doesn't give an answer.
Automaton, do you have the capacity of speech?
Doesn't give an answer. And
Automaton,
you see a story kind of look over at you.
Communication?
You see a story kind of look over at you. Hey, some of these were more just like work golems. There's no need for them to really speak or respond. They more just needed to understand their role, to understand their orders. So, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and it has been a while since I've dealt with these, I think you just need to tell it what to do, and if it understands and is able to, it'll do it.
I understand. Automaton, please, follow us.
It stands there looking at you.
Very good. I will look, and I'll say to Astoria, and I'll say, there are others. Should we attempt to gather an additional automaton?
I mean, we can. How many are left in the city? I mean,
that's a good question. DM?
You'll have to roll a history check for that. See how many of them you've found or encountered or know of.
I do have keen mind. And I was here within the last 30 days.
Yes, but you did not fully explore this city.
I was here for 6 months.
Large city.
Okay, that's fair. Alright. I made my case. It's an 18. Actually, no, that'll be an advantage.
I've lived in St. Louis my whole life, and I don't think I've fully explored St. Louis.
Okay, well, you're not a lonely robot in a desolate city.
I mean, I've been living in your mom's house for years, man. I still haven't explored everything there.
Okay.
Is the loneliest number.
Your mom jokes, classic.
What's that roll?
18.
As far as you can remember, there are roughly 6 to 7 golems throughout the area. You've seen evidence of a 7th one, but haven't really tracked down where it really is.
There are 6, perhaps 7 further. Considering the amount of time this took, I think it best, if we decide to pursue this route, to at least attempt with 2 further.
That's fine. I just want to remind you that what we're attempting to accomplish is going to need every minute of every day, because I'm not sure I can get it done in time.
I have a solution.
Listening.
I'll pull out the potion of wakeful rest.
Even working through the night, you're going to be pressed for time, and I think you still have something you're looking to finish, do you not?
I do. We have 5 days for that. But if our time here is pressing, then I can prioritize.
We have 5 days to reprogram something that took a year to build. It's going to be a feat.
I'm not sure if you are interested in statistical models, but the risk of taking on a project that could potentially exceed our current time limit is already high. 2 hours, which potentially may increase our odds of success, may be worth it. But I accept your decision either way.
We can try and track one down. Maybe start with one more, and maybe one of us breaks away to begin working while the other goes and tracks down another.
Perhaps that is the best way. We could subdue and begin work, and then the other 2, the remaining two could move on to subdue another and begin work, and reconvene at the pylon. And I will look at the automaton, and I will say, please stay close behind. We are going to travel.
He just turns the way you're heading and follows you as you step. So, as you guys begin to venture out to find another one, we go back to our 3 other individuals, Akare, Zamira, and Kidai. As you all set out on the northern reaches of Ophila, following the river to the north. What are you doing?
Following the river.
Following
I'd
the
like
river
to,
to the north.
yeah, I'd like to pull out the map and between me and the gals here, and the discussion with Uncle. It was shit. What the hell's my? I don't know where my notebook is.
Fulgrath.
Fulgrath. Yep, that's his name.
Oh man, I called him full guest like 8 times last week.
I know.
Try to designate the point where we're planning on ambushing good old boy Zeltroy, and I suppose we'll make our way there.
About a couple miles north of town is the part on the mark on the map where he had essentially told you is the designated area where the Choosing Festival is held.
I suppose unless I'm misremembering, that's not where we're ambushing him. We're ambushing him on a place where he's like
Yeah, on the
Trying-
river, walking
yeah.
as a human.
You guys
he's
are
like
trying.
basically destined to be.
You guys are trying to find a place somewhere along the river. You have not found one yet, but you're trying to find a advantageous place somewhere along the river that is got some sort of vantage point for all of you to try and ambush him.
Well, I'll let the ladies lead. Let's find a spot.
I'd like the 3 of you to roll a d20 for me, please. Or one of you.
Somebody else do it.
I guess I'll do it then, since Aiden crossed his arms in an obvious show of not wanting to do it.
Well, that means
Well,
Aiden has to do it. He's just being sassy.
I was going to when he said all 3, and I
10.
reached forward, and then he said 1.
A
What was it?
10.
A 10?
10.
Okay.
Aiden.
I thought he said just one person, not all.
He said all three first.
I misspoke. It was just the one person.
Right. That's why I reached forward, and then he said just the one, and that's why I went back to crossed arms. I'm sorry.
Sassy.
So as you guys are walking through the
Making your way.
rolling green hills on the north edge of Ophila, you come to a small point where the hill kind of goes up and then shrinks down into a valley. And looking at the map and how far you've traveled, you essentially get the sense that this is the area where the festival is held. You can see the grass in the small valley between this almost U-like section of hills along the river is matted as if herds of animals are maybe kept here, or people frequently trample the grass here. You can tell that the area in the bottom of the valley is not nearly as tall or as lively as the surrounding areas. Continuing past this area and meandering past the large hills, you follow the river north. Mile, 2 miles, till eventually you come to an area where the landscape almost splits. To the left, it kind of slopes downward, where following the river as it's coming down from the mountains. But up to the right, it kind of begins to form small amounts of bluffs, where there's maybe about a 15 to 20 foot cliff that kind of sits above and looks down over the river.
Do we see anything if we look over the bluff?
You see the river in the small area below.
How flat
could
is the
push
side of
on.
it?
It is almost straight flat, like just a
So if
sheer cliff.
If he were pushed, there's nothing he could grab onto.
Yeah, but it's only like a 15-foot drop.
But it would still catch him off guard
Correct.
and enclose him somewhere.
It's also there's the cliff, there's the level up here where you guys are currently standing, looking over this small little valley, and then there's about maybe 30 to 40 feet between the cliff and the river. So it's kind of like a small bluff that overlooks the river.
Do we think that maybe he would walk along the river, or
The information
Up
you've
here,
been
and maybe
given
we
is
can-
he follows the river from the mountain to the town.
right? So he'd be walking underneath us.
That
Is
is
there
the
any-
information you've been given.
Yeah. Is there any foliage down there?
There's some pocketing bushes and various different trees, but it's like a tree here, a tree there, a couple different bushes, some
Tree everywhere.
rocky formations, but for the most part there's a few places like where there's like small and large boulders that are kind of set out that you could probably, if someone was dexterous enough or silent enough, they could hide in the shadows behind one of these boulders trying to wait in ambush, but hard to tell until you
just
see which
not
way he's coming.
Confident. I'm just not confident no matter what form he's in, we'll be able to pull off an ambush.
Especially if there's only 3 of us. I mean, like, I know that we would come together for this,
No,
but
This is us scouting. We're just scouting.
yeah. Do we think
Yeah.
that maybe, like, a poison Girl Scout cookie stand, something like that? Like,
Don't you have a way to make the world look different than it is?
I can certainly try, but I mean, you've seen my fireworks. They're not that great.
I'm not talking about fireworks.
Well, it's kind of the same thing unless I'm not catching what you're...
I was referring to the spell hallucinatory terrain.
DM, is there any way in high hell? Well, actually, I think we already discussed this. Altosia could see through even my shroud
Correct.
because of, I assume, true sight.
Correct.
Do I have any idea what that is? Because if I was able to explain, I don't think true sight's going to help at all.
I
I don't think hallucinatory terrain's going to help at all because possibly true sight.
Well, and I'm
Well-
fairly certain of that, but Zamira wouldn't be fairly certain.
I don't
of
think you
that.
really understand true sight at this point, considering none of you have ever really experienced it beyond what these dragons have
That's
shown,
fair.
but they've never really explained to you their reasoning for why they could see you.
If
Well, I
if
guess-
anything, it would be enough to put him at pause.
I
Maybe
guess
on
that
alert, but also at
depends.
pause.
Well, I was
What?
more thinking we could use it to direct him. Like if there was a block or a flooded area or something that we could designate him to walk at a certain part that we would need him to.
I'm sure we can manage that.
If we could
For
steer
sure.
him to the path that was most advantageous for us.
As you guys are kind of standing on this bluff, Kidai, with your very perceptive skills, you can hear the trotting of a horse coming from the direction of Ophila in your guys' direction.
I would immediately alert everybody.
I'll hide.
For the record, DM, I used a charge of Tireless to give myself temp HP.
Okay.
Are we sneaking? Because I can do pass without trace.
You guys do your thing. I can
Yeah,
blend
I
in
mean,
if
I'll
need-
take cover until we see who it is, because this is not
Say
somewhere
no
we
more.
want to be spotted
It's
It's
done.
done.
meddling.
Pass
Cover.
without trace is up.
You guys are taking cover. Go ahead and roll stealth checks for me.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, didn't need
28.
25.
it.
Be extra sneaky.
35.
Jesus Christ. All you guys are
That's Queen.
unseen. So as you guys kind of hide
We don't even
into
exist.
the brush and the trees on the top of this cliff, this bluff, the horse comes trotting through with a young elven man on it. And you can see he's got a satchel around his back, and he's dressed in the cerulean blue clothes of the cerulean phoenix, the same visage that you see on the family of the Duranast. And as you're watching, you
Anything
can
else? Okay,
ahead.
go on.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask if his horse is carrying any other saddlebags that look. I mean, unusual is probably the wrong word, but
No saddles or like bags on the horse. You can just see he's got a satchel around his side. From those of you that have been in cities, the best you could
Looks
tell
like a
looks like a
messenger bag?
courier's bag.
yeah. What do we want to jump him and take
Let's
the note?
follow him.
He's
Yeah,
deli-
I think
he's-
let's look first.
He's delivering a note to Zeltroy. Is what he's
I
doing.
think we need to follow him.
Hold on here.
I think we should. So maybe just run up and just cold clock him. He never sees a thing.
Except for the fact that when he wakes up, he'll know a blue lady cold clocked him.
No, you're just too fast.
And I'm already disliked by these people. They think I'm a predator.
Literally. Well,
Well, you kind of are.
you're asking about their flower beds, so
I could
you're asking
certainly
about whether or
try
not
to
their
get
flowers
up
have been
close
bedded.
and
Well,
learn what I can if you'd like before we,
I think we
Look,
should just.
I mean,
permanently jump the guy.
I could just put one
I
through his
think-
skull. No, I'm kidding.
I think we just need to know, because then they'll know something's up. I think we need to just follow him, see what's going on, and never alert him to our presence. At the very
Well, here's
least, we
one.
might find where the entrance to this cave is.
Oh shit! Pass that Trace's concentration.
Um,
I mean,
Here's
alternative.
my idea. As me, the troublemaker.
You.
This is Alyssa speaking. This is not Kita.
Oh,
There's no wild shape for like. Damn, are dogs common in your world? I haven't asked.
There are dogs. You haven't seen one on this island, but there are dogs.
who let them
Are
know?
there like canine creatures of some sort?
Sure.
On this island, though?
Are they common?
Not on this island.
Okay. Would it be more likely that they're feline creatures?
Be more likely that they're prehistoric creatures.
Jesus Christ. Well, okay, like an injured brontosaurus isn't gonna do it, Matt. Come on, like, damn. I'm thinking of a limping puppy going up to a man here. Okay, that's not gonna work then. If a dog
DM,
comes up,
is this guy armed at all?
Make a perception check.
60. 22.
Looks as if he has maybe a small dagger on his side, but
Right.
that's about it.
2 options. We can follow him, or I can drop the shrouds here, the shadows, and I can just mark him and track him either myself or track him later and pick up the note that he leaves. The way it was described was a note is left and then is come and collected after a time.
Well, we want to find the cave, right? I mean, I'm the
We
one
already
that
know
can...
where the cave is.
I think we should just follow him, see what's going
That's what
on,
I'm
and
saying.
just we don't need to alert him that we followed him. That'll make things worse.
I agree.
I
But
can
I think we
probably
should-
get the closest if I'm...
I think we should
don't
intercept
look
the
like
note if we
this.
can after he's delivered and before it's picked up. Just to see
If
its
we
contents.
intercept the note, they'll know. I
If-
feel like
if-
they would know if we even read it.
That's a risk I think we have to take. I have no idea what the contents could be. It could be telling all about us being here. It could be something written by Kalu or anybody else in power that hasn't told us the entire truth. We have to see the contents of the note, I would think.
Let's keep quiet and let's go.
Okay. Forget about setting up traps. Let's track this guy.
Okay. You guys are attempting to track him?
Yeah.
Are
Well,
you
we're
dropping
following him,
Shroud
yeah.
to Hunter's Mark him?
No, I'm keeping the pass without trace up.
Okay. All of you roll stealth checks for me, and Akari, if you're leading this, I need you to make a survival check for me to follow his path. Because following on
One
foot
sec.
compared to following a horse is a much different pace.
26.
That's okay. Stealth.
Alright.
I will use. Well, let me read the bow real quick, but I can't use the bow for this, can I? Because
If
it only
you-
lasts like.
It's once per long rest, so if you've already used it today, then you can.
I haven't used it today, but I was curious whether or not I can use it for this long lead. You know what? Never mind. I'll just roll regular stuff. Pass that traces up. I'm good. Oh yeah, I'm good. 13 plus 13 is 26 plus 10, 20 or 36.
What was your ski die? I'm sorry, I missed it.
28.
Okay, yeah, you're all good.
DM question. I know that he's on a horse. He's an elf, right?
Yeah.
Favorite enemy, elf, have advantage to track him with survival.
There you go.
You know how it is.
God bless rangers.
Yeah.
Don't understand.
22.
As you guys slowly descend the bluffs after he's kind of, a few paces ahead of you, you begin to... You notice that tracking and following this horse is going to be extremely easy for you. As the river twists and bends, so do the tracks of the horse. Almost as if he's following the river straight towards the Shattered Forest.
Predictable elves.
So it takes you guys roughly an hour, 2 hours to follow this horse throughout the slowly sloping and raising hills of the plains, but you eventually come to the outskirts of the Shattered Forest, and as you perch on a couple hills and kind of staring off into the distance, you can see he dismounts his horse, or has already dismounted his horse, and is pulling a small box out of his satchel, and he sets it below a tree just the side of the river. Waits a few moments, staring off at the river as it disappears into the forest, before mounting his horse and turning around to ride back the other way.
I'm assuming we'll wait a few minutes for.
Mm-hmm. Pass without trace is down at this moment
Correct, because it only
because
takes
it's
an
been
hour.
Yeah. I would like to put it back up.
Okay.
Again. And I'll kind of just look at the 2 other ladies and just like a questioning look between us. Who wants to go? Get it? Read it? Wait,
I'm the
it's probably in
fastest.
Elvish. I'm probably the one who can fucking read it.
can at least go get it without being seen.
It's probably in Elvish. I'm probably the only one that can read it.
I can sprint, go get it, bring it back. You can read it, and I can run it back.
Not within range past that, Trace.
I will be a little lizard.
Go get it.
And I'll go get it.
Be a little lizard.
I'll be a little lizard and I'll go get it.
I love it.
Okay. You wild shape into a lizard and scurry across the grasslands over to this small wooden chest. How's your lizard opening this chest?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just a letter.
Nope.
It's my bad. With my tail.
Make a strength check
Stop
for me as the
vomit.
wizard. Or as the lizard.
It's trapped.
The
You die.
lizard.
As the lizard, make a strength check for me.
Oh,
Hold on.
The
The
lizard would have a
lizard?
higher modifier than the wizard anyway, so it's fine.
That's
That's
probably
true.
true.
Yikes.
Can anybody like the lizard that I'm finding on Wild Shape has absolutely nothing?
Say that again.
The lizard that I'm finding on Wild Shape has absolutely nothing as far as stats. So what do you
Hold
want
on,
me
I've
to do?
I've got stat
Probably a
block
commoner.
cards for wild shapes right here.
It's probably a straight roll. It's probably just a D10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or a
A
D20.
D10?
Yeah, just roll
It's
a
probably
Okay.
10 on
Strength-
stats. Just a
Hold
D20.
on, hold on. No, the strength modifier for a lizard is -4.
All right.
That wasn't helpful.
Nice.
What's wrong with you?
I rolled an
I'm sorry.
18.
So minus 4. For 14.
So 14.
Your lizard goes to try and open it with his tail, and it opens slightly before slamming back down and pinching your tail.
In Little Lizard, he says,
Shit on
"Bitch."
Good
Um,
thing your tail grows back.
it's true.
As the lizard,
Yeah.
you take 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
Jesus
It
Christ.
doesn't even have hit points. Like, what am I looking at?
No,
fucking
a lizard
box
has
does
a
4?
lizard has 1d4 plus 0, so 4 points would kill you no matter what you rolled.
4
Aw,
points of
damn.
damage
Well,
is enough to
you
kill
know.
a standard human, Matt.
Yeah,
This
but you gotta
box
think
just
as a small
decapitated that.
small lizard, it's gonna hurt more when it falls on your tail.
I'm keyed-eye, I'm frustrated, I grab the chest.
Okay.
And run.
As you guys are watching, you just watch as Kidai, like, the small little chest opens, slams back down on this lizard's tail, and then Kidai just like, morphs back into her form, huffs, grabs the box, and starts running in your guys' direction.
Nothing I ever do gets to be cool.
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault, it's the dice.
It was the cutest idea. I was picturing the little fire newt from Frozen 2.
Same kind of, yeah. Thank you.
After about 30 seconds, Kidai's standing before you guys with a small box with like iron accents and a small little almost silver-plated keyhole on the front.
If only because
Just
I
drop
didn't
it.
see it from that. Just on the, just like clonk on the ground from full.
Well, no, I'll be careful.
If only because I didn't get a good visual from that far. Can I check it for traps?
Yeah, go ahead. Make an investigation check.
Okay. 16.
Not appear trapped.
I'm assuming it's not locked because the lid was open enough to slam on her on her lid
It is
or
not locked.
tail, toe, lid, tail. I don't know what the hell's going through my brain right now. We'll flip it open.
You open it, and there are 2 letters within inside.
Okie dokie. Let me guess, they're
Are
written in
they in
Elvish.
Elvish?
They are both written in Elvish. The first with the noble seal of the Cerulean Phoenix emblazoned in a wax seal, sealing the letter.
How the fuck are you gonna get past that?
You can re-wax a wax seal.
I have expertise in thieves' tools. Bring it here.
I have a proficiency in thieves' tools.
I have fire.
Yeah, but when you're talking about getting past a wax seal, you have to like scoop it up without breaking it, and then slightly heat up the bottom to press it back down.
Yeah, that's
You
exactly what
break
we're gonna
it.
do.
Yeah, that's a thieves'
That's
tools
ex-
check, right?
That's 1000% what I'm about to do. I'm gonna
Fine and-
use my. Short sword's a bad choice.
Hold on. Can I use a queso blade to melt a rock
No.
to make sure we have an imprint for the stamp.
Oh, we don't need an imprint.
I don't think the queso blade.
Well,
can
we have to
melt
make
a
it the
rock.
same, right?
No, because we're just gonna peel it up from the bottom and not break it, and then you reheat the bottom so it sticks back down, and you never mess with the top.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, look, you're sneaky. You got it. I'll be over here.
Yeah, DM, fuck it. Can I use a knife to... Can somebody create a little fire here?
Yes.
Warm it just barely and just try to slide it under. I'll use the knife from my Thieves tool set. A really
Gotcha.
thin, like paper thin knife, right? Totally exists in a Thieves tool set.
You may make
Just gonna
either a thieves' tool
heat
check
it.
or a sleight of hand check.
I guess I'll use the Thieves tools check.
Okay.
Because that makes the most sense because I'm using something out of Thieves tools. This is good. 17 plus another 5, 22.
Skidai lights a small flame for you, and you just hold the blade in it for just a few seconds. Not
13,
hot enough
13
to where...
plus 4 plus 5, right? 22. Yeah, okay.
So you hold the blade there just long enough to heat it up, but not hot enough to where it'll damage the paper. And you go to try and slide it under, and as you do, you just slowly work the knife under the wax seal until it pops off, leaving a small little circular indent on the paper where the wax seal was pressed in.
Okay. I will ever so gingerly unfurl and begin to read.
As you unravel the very old and very tender piece of parchment, you can see it is written in Elvish, but almost like an ancient form of Elvish. There's nuances about it where it takes you a little longer to kind of decipher, but you get it. You get the gist of it, and it reads, "Father, I know it's been a while since we've spoken, even longer since we've seen each other. The next choosing is on the horizon, and just as in the prior years and the prior festivals, I hope to see you during the festival. But, as expected, I believe you will not be there. I understand you're doing what is needed of you, what is needed of a leader for his people, to keep us safe, but nonetheless, I hope to see you." And then that is about the end of it. And then at the bottom, you can see it's Kalu. And then just below it, there is like another little thing. You should know that Mother has returned. And Okai is with her.
Yeah, I will read it verbatim or translate it verbatim and then work on sealing it back up. Kind of just warming the bottom. I'll use the back side of the blade, the unsharpened side, to just kind of rub up and down from the heat of the fire that Kidai's made, and just kind of create. Don't, Emma, and just make sure that it's all ready to reseal. And
Make another check for me to try and reseal it.
Oh boy. Mm-hmm. Oh shit. No, these aren't bad. +4. +5 for my dex. This one's a 20.
Still fairly good. You...
Best I could do.
If you didn't know better, you'd think you got it perfect, if not near perfect, back in the spot.
Sometimes wax seals are finicky. Yeah. The second one is sealed, or...
The second one is not sealed.
Okay. I'll just pop it.
It just has a red ribbon around the outside of it.
Yeah. We'll give it a... I'll make sure that I tie it the back way, or back the same way.
Okay.
What is wrong with my brain tonight?
Samesies, backsies.
Samesies, backsies. Yeah. My brain's jumbled today, evidently. But I will make sure that I study the way that it's tied so I can tie it the same way, but I'll just pop it up and read it.
You slide off the red ribbon and begin to unfurl the parchment, and you can see it starts off, Master Torsion. Preparations for the festival are going as planned. There are a number of likely suitors for the Guardian this year, and you can see there is a list of about 6 different names just below.
Keep that list away from Zamira.
And then at the bottom it says,
I hate you all.
Each of these, I believe, would be well suitors for the Guardian. Each of them shows promise in the arcane arts and are well astute. Your loyal servant, Loxus.
Have I heard the name Loxus before? I don't.
That's
know
the
what my
guy
book
that
include, I'm sorry.
Gave the arm wrestling contest with Kothar, and Kothar
He
was trash
one of the
talk.
disgruntled generals.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, one of the gruff generals. I wouldn't call him disgruntled, but
He was not very keen on you guys being there.
right. I'll make sure to read it and put a little bit of emphasis on the idea, or I'll say it's interesting that he mentions if they're skilled in the arcane, considering Zeltroif is presumably, based on what we've heard, trapped here. I think he's trying to amass skilled arcanists around him to break free somehow. To break free of something, maybe even a curse.
Seems to me that there isn't as much choice in being chosen as there isn't as wide of a variety being chosen as we thought. Seems like everyone thinks they're up for grabs when really there's only a few that are being selected for him almost.
I'd agree. I just find it strange that he mentions their arcane skill. If I were trapped on an island or cursed somehow to be a human for a number of days every year, or every lunar eclipse, I suppose I'd be massing arcanists around me too to break free.
Well, you could need them for something else, though.
There's not any male names on the list, is there?
Are not any male.
Okay, roger that. Just didn't know whether Zeltroif was, whether to willing to put all past him in order to achieve his final goal.
I would have liked him a little more.
Maybe it varies from year to year. Who knows?
It's a big gay bad dragon.
Stop it.
Maybe you're assuming Zeltroif's pronouns.
What? Oh. I'm pretty sure we've only heard him referred to as he, though.
Yeah.
And or brother. Maybe they're just messing with him. Oh, well. Stepbrother? Anyway. Yeah.
No.
I'll put the ribbon back on, and we'll close the box all neat. Kira,
are we capable of remembering those names?
I presume I can write them down.
Yeah, I mean, you could.
Sure. I will take note of those names in my notebook that I do not know where it is. Wait, it's going to be right here. There it is. I just didn't look behind me. Do you have the list of names ready, or do you just want to DM it to me later or something?
I'm to you right now.
Okay, that's even better. Now I don't have to write them down. Perfect. Yeah. To spend 10 minutes defining how they're spelled and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just DM real quick. I'll just keep things moving. Close the box. Pass the trace is still up. I will bring the shadows around me. I will stealth and place the box back where it was.
They don't have last names?
Don't start
Jesus Christ. 31.
Damn.
That was with Emirath drawing it in. I only rolled an 18,
That is, you successfully place the box back where it belongs, both letters back inside, and the ribbon and wax seal successfully tied back on to the best of your ability.
Yep.
Only there was a way to remove our scent from the letters.
Oh, sorry, it's not 31, it's 41.
Oh, sorry.
Does that remove our scent from the letters, Matt?
Sorry, sorry.
I didn't know what the DC was, It's just a.
I'm actually not at the Shattered Forest.
Matt.
I just stepped through and I'm in a different campaign.
It's just a 41 on stealth. I'm all the way back where I was created. It's fine.
Step through the plains and all of a sudden you're in a new world.
Gone.
With
See you
that
later.
with that high of a stealth, can we successfully get our scents removed from the
No.
letters?
Absolutely not.
You know, the funny part is, if I really wanted to, in some strange, disgusting metagamey way, I could just drink that level 20 potion, bamf off to a plane of existence. Y'all would never see me again because I can do that.
have
as a rest
perfume,
moment.
don't I, Matt?
You do have
That
a bottle
would
of
that would
perfume.
that would add a bunch of new scents. That would make it smell like perfume.
It would be complicated.
Do you think
That
he
would make
like
the smell
opens the letters and he's like,
suspicious.
ah?
Well, he's a
Yeah, it's like his pen pal, right? I don't know. Maybe he's actually in love with the
Just
elf who
trying to
delivers the
help it.
letters. This is getting deep. Can you imagine?
I feel
Maybe
like
the
he
elf
can
who
probably
delivers the
smell
letters.
really good.
I'll put my perfume away then.
Don't you love how the other
dang.
group like was so focused and organized on getting their tasks done, and we're over here just blundering it. All right, everything's replaced. We'll head back to the
Superior
bluff.
half of the party over here.
Hey, we found hella important information.
We did actually. Well, we found interesting information for sure. All the offerings to Zeltrith are kind of preordained in a list of skilled arcanists, or people showing promise anyway.
Theoretically, there's 5 girls on that list. We could each buddy system one of them.
+1 to the festival.
Yeah, that's just going to further your reputation.
Until you guys
Zamira.
realize that it was the 5 girls that Zamira approached, and she all hate her now.
I thought you said it was only 3 that I approached.
Just
Yeah,
need to know
who
the status
knows?
of their bed of flowers. You know.
What's up, virgins?
Hello, my fellow virgins.
So as you guys gather your things and begin making your way back to the
Make your way.
village of Ophila, we come back. And as we come back, we find Kothar, yet again, perched on the top of a building, overlooking what Scholar has scouted out for him, another automaton, but this one a bit larger and carrying a massive blade in his hand. One that is maybe a bit more capable than the first one he took down.
I might have something for this. Hold on. I'll say,
Pardon you, sir.
It's my mic stand.
It do be squeaking. Hey,
Have you
DM,
considered some WD-40?
just a
No.
quick random question. How long has it been since we have boarded the boat from the other city?
Since you guys first marooned on the island,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'd have to go back and count it all up. I think it's been close to 2 months.
Okay. Just a rough estimate, that's all.
It may have been longer.
I will say, Kothar, are you capable of your rage at this point?
Yeah, I can take this one down.
Okay. Do you think the same plan, or do you have an improvement you would suggest?
I mean, it worked the first time, so if it ain't broke,
Right,
you
improve it.
know that one, right? Yep. Okay.
Yeah, if it's not broke, improve it. Yes.
Oh,
I should mention,
close.
as you guys were kind of gathering and trying to track this down, Astoria did break off to go begin preparations in her lab, so it is just you two.
Sure.
Not that. I would have told the automaton to follow us.
Okay.
Big boy.
So I would like the automaton somewhere standing perfectly still behind the building as backup.
Okay.
And I will, with instructions to wait for my command to join and assist Kothar specifically in subduing the automaton.
You got it. It's your move, Kothar.
When it gets in
Visibility on
range,
Kothar.
rage jump.
Go ahead and roll your athletics for me. Ooh, I rolled good this time. Probably still doesn't beat yours, but I rolled good.
21.
Oh, hey, 22! As you go to...
I only rolled a 12 though, so.
I rolled an 18.
Does he get some sort of benefit because he was invisible when he jumped?
He gets advantage.
I get advantage on them because I rage.
Yeah.
Okay, so invisibility was just for fun. Cool.
Sorry.
No, never. It's okay. I will, as soon as I see him jump, I will say, now, to the automaton.
So as Kothar comes slamming in to the top of this one, you can see he turns, sees him coming, and he throws his arm out. And as he does, you can see a small little pocket on his arm opens, and a metal shield comes out and almost unfolds into this massive kite shield in front of him. And you see Kothar just slam into it, pushing him down, and like he falls down to his knees, but he's holding Kothar back. And you can see the blade in his other hand begins to come flying around, but the other golem comes running up and begins to try and grapple him. Go ahead and roll a d20 and add 4.
It's a 6.
Unfortunately, he got an 18. So as the other one comes up and the golem begins to try and grab at him, goes to grab and grabs for the sword, but instead the other one takes and just rings the sword out wide, slashing across the metallic armor of the front of your golem, sending it knocking back a couple of feet. And I'd like you to both roll initiative. Oh, it's all fucked. Sad day. There we go. We'll just do it this way. We'll keep Hex happy for a little bit. Oh, hey, I forgot to clear this off from the other.
Same battle, Matt. Just flip some of the like stuff around, and you're fucking cooking it.
By the way, I will take this time to complain about your Scholar Mini ever so slightly. I've tried printing it 5 times and it has failed every single time. It's getting under my skin. It's getting under my skin a little bit. I don't know what it is about it.
What is it? Because he's got the guns, right?
I don't know what it is about it, but he has failed 5 times now for me. I'm got my 6th attempt going right now.
Nice.
So, 25 to 20.
Got a mini.
Actually, just make it easy. What do both of you get?
18.
21.
The golem will cost a bonus action for you to command, so you know.
Understood.
So we have Kothar, then we have Scholar, then we have the golem. Kothar, top of the round, what are you doing?
I want to try to grab this guy by the leg, grapple him.
Go
How
ahead.
big is this one?
This one is maybe about the same size, but the metallic guards and armoring on him is definitely built more, like you can tell this one is meant to be a soldier. This one was meant to be a guard for maybe envoys, for merchants, but maybe just a city guard, who knows, but definitely more battle oriented.
Sure, I want to slip behind him and try to grab him like up under the armpits.
Gonna like overtake or slam him. Go ahead and roll that grapple check for me.
Oh, well, 26.
Yeah, you beat him. You got a 22 again.
For my second attack, I would like to try to sweep the legs and wrestle him to the ground.
Okay. Makes contested strength checks. So just strength check, straight strength, which is advantage for you.
15.
23.
Did you roll a natural 20?
I rolled a 19.
Then how's he only have a 3 to athletics?
He has a 4.
Oh, you said he had 3.
Pretty sure I said 4.
He said 4 for the other golem.
15. He's staying standing.
Yep. So he sits there. You go to try and sweep out his legs, trying to run your leg and your tail underneath to try and stop his footing, but it slams into him, and you shove him, but it does not kick his foot out from under him. He's just sitting there and turns, begin to go to Scholar's turn.
Okay, since he's got his arms pinned, I'm going to actually somewhat dexterously climb on top of Kothar's shoulders. And actually, first, can I do the golem first?
It costs your bonus action to do it.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to say...
so it costs your bonus action,
s-
but the golem goes immediately after you, so he takes his turn after you.
Understood. Okay, that's fine. So just as my command for him will be grapple that golem.
Yeah.
And then I will jump up, I will climb up on top of my good lizardy acquaintance, and I will try to make a tinker's check I want to disable him. Just immediately short-term disable him.
Sure, so you're trying to just go straight for that like memory core in his head that Astoria showed you and trying to disable him?
Go for the jugular.
So she explained the like intricate details, and that's perfectly encased within, so he would know where the shutoff wire is, where the most critical thing is, so on and so forth, from her explanation. So I'm going to go for that.
But her explanation was on a workhorse robot, and this one is a soldier robot, so you're not exactly sure that those are built the same way.
Okay. So if there are similarities, if
there
not,
are definitely similarities as you start looking. So go ahead and make a Tinker's check for me.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, Tinker's check to get it open. Pull the fastest wire.
Yeah.
That's going to be a
20-something. You cut out. Oh no, they both froze.
Oh, he's gone.
Oh
They
no.
didn't both freeze. Just the man's.
Oh no.
24.
24. There we go. He's
24.
back.
Look at that.
I'm here.
You were frozen for us.
I'm here.
Okay, 24. You were able to pull it off, and you go to pull the first wire. But as you go to pull the first wire, there's like a surge of electricity that comes out through it. This robot has defense mechanisms. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. It's going to be a 16.
16 succeeds, and you take 10 points of lightning damage, reduced to 5 because you succeeded. So as you like go to grab the wire that kind of connects to the memory bank, that kind of is the connection between at least the one that was the same as the other one. There's the connection between the memory bank and the inner circuits that like tell the rest of the body what to do. You grab the wire and try to pull it off. It shocks you ever so slightly, but you hold on, and with that high Tinker's check, you're able to unravel it. And as you do, you can see it begin to slow down, and the eyes begin to go darkened. But after about a half a second, it comes back on. He's got to have some sort of redundancies that keep him from stuff like this happening.
Understood. I will, because I don't want to be there when he starts swinging, I will jump back off of Kothar's shoulders and wait for him to be resecured.
You got
before
it.
I make my next attempt.
Okay. As you exit his range, he is going to take an attack of opportunity of you, though.
Okay, that's fair.
Oh, I highly doubt this hits.
Can he reach while he's grappled?
He has a 10-foot reach with that massive blade.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't think it's going to hit anyways. A 10.
Does not hit.
I would assume so. All right.
Oh, Matt, I have the Ring of Evasion, so I wouldn't have taken any damage from that.
Oh, did you end up taking the ring? I thought someone else did.
I think so.
Are you attuned to it, though?
Yes. Because we had several days with it in Ophila.
Ophila, okay. That is good to know. Okay, that brings us to the Golem's turn, who is going to try and attempt to break out of your grapple, Kothar. So I need a contested strength roll, please.
That's probably going to be a no, Chief. I got a 25.
It definitely is. It definitely is a no. I got a 13. He goes to try and wrestle you out and get your arms off him, but you are firmly holding the shield and this guy's arm against him, and the only thing he has free is that other hand. So he sees that he can't break out, and he's just going to try and slam the sword into you and try and do something.
It is his action to try to break free.
You are correct, so he has nothing. That's going to bring us to your turn.
We're going to trip him again.
Go for it.
Natural 20 for a 25. 7
for an 11. So as you go and you shove your legs under this massive hulking automaton, he goes throwing it to the ground. I forgot. I'll add it in here for Flair. That is my fault. Remind me on the next turn, Hex. Your guy did not take his turn immediately after yours, which he should have.
Okay. It's more for flavor than anything, just a redundancy.
So as you go and you throw this massive beast to the ground, you shove both the arms to either side so he's not able to fling his sword or his shield in your general direction. And then the other automaton comes down and just puts both of his hands down, holding this massive automaton down with both of you on top of him. He's not going anywhere at this point. Okay. What else are you doing, Kothar? Anything?
I just want to headbutt him for good measure.
Okay. Just a straight, go ahead and roll to hit, just a straight strength attack roll.
Yeah, it's a 21.
Yeah, that's going to hit. So you just headbutt him, which I think is 6 damage, correct?
6 damage. Well, right. It's 8 because I get my rage bonus.
You get your rage. Nice. So you headbutt into him, and as you like rear back from the headbutt, you can see there's like a very firm indent with a couple of like smaller indents from like the spines on your head. You're smashed into this guy. That brings us to your turn, Scholar.
Okay, I'm going back in for a Tinker's check
Go
with
for it.
Updates. This isn't an advantage. It's straight. I almost did an advantage. So that's a natural 1. But I'm going to use Flash of Genius to make it a 19.
Can't fail ability checks, so...
Right. Just saying.
Can't critically fail ability.
It's a 19.
That's okay. So you get in there and you begin looking over the inside of this. And this guy's got redundancies. He's a bit different. He looks maybe a little bit more sophisticated than the simple workhorse golem you found. This guy looks like he's got more intricate designs and the ability to understand in depth greater understanding of what he's supposed to do and analyzing from the inside. You can see he actually has like a separate memory bank just under the other one that's maybe a little bit smaller, perhaps like a second memory core, second battery of sorts. And you see wires coming from it. But just before you get there, he can sort of like shambles around and another plate comes down to protect it.
Spicy.
That brings us to your
bonus action.
Yes.
For the golem, I would like him to rip its legs off like a little butterfly. Just kidding.
Okay.
I was trying to think of something on the fly. It didn't work.
It's all right. If you do not give him an action, all he does is continue the same action given before.
Yep. Standing orders.
Got it. All right. That brings us to the Golem's turn, who has nothing to do because his movement is 0. His arms are both pinned and his legs are pinned. He's going to try and break out from both of your guys' holds. All right. Might get it. 22. No.
28.
Hot damn. How'd you get a 28? What's your athletics? Oh, because never mind.
Plus 9.
Yeah, I was gonna say your athletics is probably proficient, fairly high. Yeah. You hold him to the ground. He doesn't move. Can't do anything. Your turn, Kothar.
We're just gonna keep grab. We're just gonna hold him there. That's it.
Okay. Scholar, that brings us to your turn. Then go ahead and attempt that Tinker's check again.
Okay.
Actually, that's a great question. Did I see the shield slam down?
The inner workings on the inside, yeah, you could see it come down if you want to try and, rip it out or move it.
Yeah, I want to jam my claw in there and try to rip it, since I feel a little more comfortable with Scholar's Golem helping me hold this guy down.
Sure, go ahead and make, just make it a straight strength check to try and grab that plate and rip it out.
15.
15. You're going to pull on it. You can feel it. You can feel it beginning to give. What?
I'm going to use Flash of Genius.
Okay.
To give him +5 on it.
So
it'll be a 20.
Sloppy 20.
20 was the DC. You grip on.
Let's go!
You grip onto the metal plate and begin to crush it. And just as you do, and you can feel it beginning to give way slightly, but it's not going. And Scholar kind of reaches over and helps you. Like there's a sense of like a arcane energy that kind of like passes over you. It's slight and you hardly notice it at first, but you feel it almost give you guidance in what you're looking for, and you grab into the right place, right on the hinge of where this metal is, and you just completely break it off and rip it out into your hand.
Scholar, I don't think we have much time.
I like to think that Scholar put an electrical current at just the right place to completely flex, hyper flex his bicep and just rip up.
I like it. That brings us to your turn, Scholar.
Let me ask a question. If I cast haste on myself, it says attack, dash, disengage, hide, or use an object action.
Yeah.
Would use an object qualify as a Tinker's Tools check?
It's borderline, but I'd allow it in this situation.
Okay. Then I will cast haste on myself as my action.
Okay.
And then I will use my hasted action to make my Tinker's Tools check.
You got it.
There needs to be a Tinker's Tools check button. That's going to be
watered down the wrong
22, but I'm going to use a third Flash of Genius.
For 27?
Bro, you're so smart.
27, yeah.
That'll do it. You go in, you see the secondary memory bank, and you see the wires kind of going from the secondary to the main, and you're looking at how they're kind of inner workings, and there's similarities between the first golem that you worked on with Astoria, and you get the sense that there's this one almost bare copper wire that runs between them that you can just get the feel, because of your knowledge of the inner working of Techno-Arcana stuff, that there is a bit of an electrical current going between them. You can tell the redundancy is coming from that wire, and you just go and you pull it out, and you watch the eyes go dim. And the two arms go limp as the golem turns off.
I will look at Kothar, and I will help Kothar up and say, thank you.
I think that went pretty well. Are you all right? I didn't take any hits, did you?
A small one, but this and all of the ring helped.
Ah, wonderful.
Now comes the difficult part. Should we have our new friend carry his new friend back to the lab, where we can have Astoria's assistance, or should we attempt to fix him here? Let me ask, you know what, I'll look at the automaton, the friendly automaton, and say, could you please attempt to lift him?
Go ahead and roll d20 with +4.
5. Natural 1 for 5.
He goes to lift him, and he gets him a couple inches off the ground, but he's hunched over completely, and you can hear the grinding of metal as he's straining to hold him right there.
Here. Let me help. I think we can get him back to the lab if it's the two of us.
Go ahead and roll, Kothar.
Just the two of us.
I'm assuming is it at advantage because the other guy's helping?
Yeah.
That's my second natural 20 for 25.
Hot damn.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's the other dice. That was the gold dice this time, not the gemstone.
As you almost completely heave this up, and the other guy's just kind of sitting there, and he's holding both of the shoulders, and you're just holding it around the waist, and it's almost as if there's no weight coming off of it, and he's just holding it there. Something about this one feels significantly lighter. Maybe it's the way you lifted it, or maybe you're just a little more invigorated after the short battle, but you get the sense you guys could easily get this back to the shop.
Lead the way.
Very well. And so I will.
Takes you guys 30-45 minutes to get from the north side of the city where you are back to the tower. Maybe about another 15-20 minutes meandering and maneuvering throughout the inner workings of the tower to get this golem up to Astoria's lab, but you both eventually enter, where you can see Astoria has cleaned up a little bit and gathered a plethora of her tools and materials that she could find on her massive workbench. She turns to look to both of you. Oh, you guys did get 2. I do think having both of them will be great of assistance, but should we maybe remove the sword and the shield attachments and replace them with something else? And she motions to an incomplete golem that's on the wall that just has plain arms.
I think so.
I mean, if they're only for moving things, yeah.
We could leave the shield one in. It could come in handy. It is simply stored in his arm.
Then sure.
It shouldn't take me too long.
The sword is part of his arm, correct? It's
Correct.
Not like
It comes down, and then there's like a massive sword attachment on his arm.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Retrofit this sucker.
Well, it shouldn't take us too long between the two of us. And she
I agree.
directs Kothar and the new golem to set the other one down on her workbench, where she begins to unscrew and unhinge the arm. And as they begin to piecemeal together their new workhorse automaton, that's where we're going to go to break.
Let's go. Spicy.
Make sure to hydrate. Chill. And guys, what are we talking about in the break that will totally piss Matt off?
Not going to piss me off.
Well, let's talk about...
My day already started shitty. It can only go up from here.
You say this now.
Listen, you're just about to slide into greatness.
Oh,
I fucking hate you.
that doesn't... I don't like that.
All
of a
right,
sudden.
guys.
I felt bad about that one.
Guys, don't go nowhere. We're going to go to break. We're going to take a couple minutes, grab some food, grab some water, settle in for the second half of our Split the Party episode.
Get you a snacky wacky, maybe a
We'll be
little
back.
hydration, or an adult beverage.
I see that.
What the hell you got there?
Well, now that the camera's not on, hot and spicy cheese crackers.
Cheese crack, square shaped cheese crackers of an unknown brand.
I've never had the hot and spicy one. Those
Hashtag
do
not-
look really good.
You should get those with the canned sprayable cheese.
Oh, yeah?
And if you get 2 of those
Like a sandwich?
crackers and you put and you make a sandwich, it is about 600% of your daily amount of trans fat in one sandwich.
But is it worth it?
100%.
Yes, if you're all right with your face exploding, like absolutely breaking out, because that's what it does to me, which is why I no longer can eat them. Because I would go through a box and like 2 cans of that at a time.
Also, hold on real quick, Zach, while you're still here. Which of the cheese square cracker nondescript brand, you and I used to agree that like one of them absolutely slapped, and I haven't had them in years.
White cheddar,
100% white cheddar.
because I still get them sometimes. If you ever have a chance, get the duos though, the white cheddar and the Parmesan,
Oh,
or something like
God
that.
Damn, that's bougie.
So, since we're on the topic of snacks, and on Monday I said that I was going to give my little fire spirit a sneaky snack, and Matt questioned me calling it a sneaky snack, and I've been calling it that for so many years I don't even think anything about it anymore.
What the hell?
But I always say, like, do you want a sneaky snack? And I always say it to my kids and everything. And where that actually came from, though, is years and years and years ago. With horses, you have to, like, worm them every month and give them all kind of medicine and stuff. And they usually don't like it. And so a lot of times you'll, like, put the tube of, like, worming medicine inside, like, an apple or something like that. And I'd be like, come here, I got a sneaky snack for you. And I would like use it to give it their medicine. And then I just started calling all snacks sneaky snacks, even though it was really because it was like a medicine-filled snack for horses.
So what you're saying is you say sneaky snack because you interact with having to give medicine to horses.
No, I called them sneaky snacks because they were really hidden. They were snacks hidden with medicine in them.
But again, because horses, which also you could have maybe in a different universe, you'd have been feeding medicine to dogs as part of like a vet or something. You wrap it in some cheese. That's a sneaky snack. But now just everything's a sneaky snack to you.
Yeah, I started saying it so much that anytime I refer to snacks, I call them sneaky snacks.
Not all snacks have to be sneaky. Sometimes you could just snack out there in public for all of God, world, and your salad to see.
No, I call them all sneaky snacks now. I'm like, you want a sneaky snack?
Okay.
Sometimes she calls it a sneaky snack because I'll be sleeping and she'll put like a granola bar in my mouth. And she'll say, sneaky snack.
Like the whole bar, or
She'll like part my mouth and I'll wake up like suffocating, like asphyxiating. with like a Nutri-Grain bar, like you know how dry those are. If you don't have
I've
a
literally
wet
never
mouth
done that.
and you eat a granola bar, like you immediately start to suffocate. So I'll just wake up asphyxiating, and she's like, "Sneaky snack, sneaky snack, sneaky snack."
I've never done that in my fucking life.
What the fucking hell? I feel like this story's half concocted, half true. I don't know where the lines are blurred. It's gray in here. I don't know.
She said, "This is coming from the woman who said she did not sleep last week." I just want you to know she has a mouth of lies.
That's true. You totally
I never
were
said I
asleep last
didn't
night.
sleep. I said I wasn't asleep for as long as you guys thought I was. I admitted to dozing off for like 10 or 15 minutes. but I was
Literally,
awake
the
for-
first words out of your mouth were, "I wasn't sleeping."
I
And then after
can't
15
be responsible
minutes
for
of
what I
walking
say.
it back, you were dying on that hill, just full of arrows, and finally, you were like, "I might have slept for a minute, but I listened to guns and stuff."
Being the youngest sibling, do you know how brainwashed it is into you to not admit to being sleeping by your older siblings?
Okay, Emma, I have an update. As fourth wall breaking as this is, someone I also know from Texas just messaged me. Oh wait, you know her. And she says sneaky snack is 100% a thing I know of from at least 2 other people that say that. So you're not
Ha!
alone. You're not alone. You're just fucking weird, and also you find yourself in comfortable company amongst other Texans, which, quite frankly, doesn't
Thanks.
count for me. Doesn't
Thanks,
count.
Wine.
Yeah. See, she knows.
Quite frankly, doesn't count for me. Okay, when Texans pat other Texans on the back, like, "Oh, I know what you're talking about, brother."
I was
No.
like really caught off guard on Monday's campaign when I was like, I'm gonna give him a little sneaky snack, and Matt was like, "Oh, what?" And like, I've been calling it that for so long, I didn't even know how to like justify it at the time. I was like, that's what they are. It's a fucking sneaky snack. So I just felt like I should clarify. Sneaky snacks are a thing. There, just for that, she gets a gifted sub for having my back.
Damn, you're really out here just gooning everybody in chat who hasn't typed yet. Probably wants to lurk. Probably doesn't want to be recognized, and you're just like, nope, I'm gonna go in here, call him out. Hey, while we're at it, no, I'm kidding. I'm not. Seeing the chat list though, like it's kind of endearing. I've I guess subtle short plug. I've been doing my own streaming thing. It's really endearing. I have a number of people who like I see in the users list, and they never type, but they're like there, and I can see that they're there, and I can see that they've left, and I see that they come back. It's really endearing to like see them. And you know what? My opinion has always been, if you want to lurk in Twitch, then lurk. Because there's nothing
While
wrong
we
with
do
it.
appreciate the lurkers, I will tell you that if you are in chat and say a few things and you don't have a subscription, chances are one of us will probably gift you a sub.
That's incredibly likely. Also, Zach, I need you to work on a prediction here, man. I can't think of a goddamn thing. I've been racking my brain since we started, and I can't
just
think of one.
gave you one.
I do like Matt.
Gave me one what?
Will
Reset.
we have a combat?
No, that's
No,
boring.
he said, will Zamira approach the women on the list?
Will we have our first combat in 4 sessions?
Not this session, next session.
Hey, you just had a combat. What are you talking
That
about?
was not a combat.
It's more like a skill challenge.
You rolled initiative, bruh.
Like
Oh
I tell
my
my
God.
listen, like I tell my players.
Do not take us off break. Do not take us off break.
I
You will
just
break
jumped
terms
so
of service.
hard.
What in the hell? Out
Like
of Emma's blurred background is just a pair of thighs.
Listen. Chat will back me up on this. Like I tell my players, initiative does
hell?
not equal combat. Initiative means there's something very pressing.
Something time relative, yeah.
Yeah, something extremely time relative in 6-second intervals. Kothar didn't get to whack
I'm
something.
in
It's
pain,
not combat.
I can't. I don't
He's
want
trying
it.
to give her sneaky snack. You're trying to get a sneaky snack.
Because he just made me cut my foot open.
Matt, bring us back so we can see the sneaky snack going down. Never mind, don't.
I was going to turn around to grab a drink, and he scared me so bad from standing behind me. I jumped up and slammed the top of my foot
Well,
on
he
the
was
corner of the
standing behind you with
cabinet.
his shorts hiked up to ultimate thigh levels. Like, I don't think I've ever seen more thigh from that man.
I just turned around to a face full of thigh, and it scared the shit out of me.
I love how Liz gives me a thumbs up. Face full of thigh? Alright, let's do it.
Now my foot is swollen and purple.
And welcome back, guys. I hope you enjoyed their beautiful Twitch banter.
Yeah, were you here for it all?
Was I? No.
Yeah, okay, probably for the best.
I specifically, when I go to break, I take my break.
No,
Oh,
I'm in the kitchen. I was in the process of getting up to grab a drink when I was injured due to the thigh surprise.
Unlike everyone else, I don't have the luxury of eating during the session.
How do people play D&D
Why
and
not?
not eat at the same time?
Because I could be asked a
okay?
question at any second.
Liz, put your mic somewhere in front of you and not off to your far
But
right.
then you can hear me sandwich, and I don't want that.
Well, that's between you and God, ma'am.
You guys want to hear a status update?
What's the status update?
I have sent 36 emails since we started the session for work
God
today.
damn.
Yeah. Been fucked up.
She's a working bitch.
Yeah.
That's called a multitasking.
So this is my I'm gonna take a moment to bitch about this because we have a conference. You guys know I'm traveling next week for a conference, right? And
By the way, are
it's
you
super
playing from the
critical.
hotel or no?
Oh, heck, dude, I work like 18 hours a day at these things.
Okay. I mean,
Not
it's just
a
a simple
chance.
question.
No, sorry. Respectfully, not a chance. But so I'm going to this conference and like I'm bricked at these conferences. Like the week before, I'm bricked because we have so much prep, we have so much outreach to do, and then we got to go to the conference and we're nut to butt on the conference, right? And
Like that, huh?
I'm following.
miss
Where
Go
do
ahead.
you
No.
work?
You're bricked and nut to butt?
Where do you work?
Go ahead.
I've
Keep
explained
going,
to you-
guys.
I've explained to you what I guys do, right?
Yeah,
What I guys do?
don't dox yourself on Twitch live in front of God and everybody.
Sure.
Your word choice is supreme.
brick.
there.
Yeah, you're saying
Like
brick,
you're
and
like
then
you stack bricks, right? It's just
Bricked,
everything
quote,
is.
bricked up.
What does bricked mean?
Nothing.
moving past it. We're moving past it.
It's the phrase you said afterwards that got him.
No, it's both.
No, it's bricked.
It's
No, Matt, it's bricked up.
What? All right, you
What
send me a DM,
are
send me a
bricks?
DM.
Give me
Just
an
moving past
adjective for bricks.
No.
Like you bricked means like you get hit in the face with a brick. That's
No,
not
describe a brick. Describe a brick.
It's like
We
a
get it.
square
Hard.
red clay.
uh-huh.
What's its texture? What does it feel like?
Liz, just let him keep going.
Rough.
I got it. Let's
God
just let
damn
him
it.
keep going.
Go ahead.
Okay.
We're
Lee, how'd you
skirting the
explain it to me?
dangers line.
Anyway, so one of my coworker, my peer, who has a very critical piece, right? That I have to cover her when she's out, and her job's like a 60-hour-a-week job, right? But I told her, I was like, hey, well, I'm going to be gone, so I have no capacity to assist in your part of the work this week, and I try not to normally. And she went on a cruise this week through next week. So, and it's a surprise cruise. But she doesn't really have a supervisor, so nobody approved it. I can't tell her not to go on the cruise. So she just bounced. And so I'm doing her full job, my full job on overtime. And so that's why you've got the bajillion emails.
You better be getting that fucking bag though.
Just paid salary, man.
Fuck.
I don't get more bag, but
No,
Are
I
we
know
on the
exactly how
same
that
page
feels.
now,
I will
or-
say, you guys probably didn't notice because I think it doesn't apply to subscribers. This is the first time I've ever used the Twitch run an ad for revenue function, being an affiliate, because there was no
I can
point for
see
any
it.
of our viewers to have to listen to that.
He ran a fucking ad while you were
Yep.
TED talking.
And it's TurboTax! I hate today!
Nice.
10,000. God damn it.
Damn. I just saw that what Breaks Up eats. It's true. That's also true.
Okay, where are we? What are we doing here, Matt?
I've never
Are
used that
we-
feature
I'm
before
working
because I
hard.
don't want to put our viewers through that, but they also had no reason to listen to that, and I was like, you know what? We're gonna do it.
This
That was a
man
good
ran a
save.
fucking
That was a
ad.
good save, Matt.
This man ran
Honestly,
an ad.
wait, that's the funniest gimmick ever. When your D&D party gets too, like, raunchy or horny, just run an ad. That's the bag, Matt. That's it. Anyway, on to...
Dude,
Back to it.
chat's getting somewhere right now, and I don't Emma. We got some real problems going on in front and behind the scenes. I just want to let you all know.
Look, bodily anatomy is nothing to giggle at.
Nope, you're in a dangerous territory. Just look at the private chat, see what Emma sent, and I bet Zach's
There's
about to
nothing
stick me flat.
dangerous about what I said.
Well, 5 weeks ago, Zach disagrees with you.
Ooh, foot fetish?
God,
Oh.
Matt, what
Can't
are we
take
doing?
this anywhere.
We're in shambles
Right?
here. This is bad.
Are we coming back to us or are we going back to them?
He ran another ad. He ran another ad.
Did he really?
He's got to wait 2 minutes. I don't know, probably. He's got to wait 2 minutes. He ran another fucking ad.
The
We're in
viewership
timeout.
has declined significantly.
I know.
We're in
13!
timeout.
Matt ran another. You're still muted,
Matt,
Matt.
we
Are
can't
you
hear
talking?
you.
Flapping your gums over there?
Come on, guys,
Yeah.
bring it in.
Oh, there
Oh,
you go.
he was muted the whole time.
We come to Zamira Kidai and Akari. Back in the city of Ophila. And you can see there is a buzz in the town. People running from shop to shop in the market, from cart to cart, gathering everything. As the days and time draw closer to the festival, you can see Amara, fresh out of all of her baked goods that you guys helped her create this morning. You
Yeah.
can see the various other food carts fresh out of most of their stuff as people are gathering everything so that they can prepare their select desserts or dishes for the festival that is at hand. What are the three of you doing as you return to town?
Feeling like failures.
As you
No,
should.
I think the bluff is a solid ambush point. But we should
We
maybe
didn't
return.
really
Well, I have a few ideas,
do
but
what we were supposed to do.
we did something greater, I think.
We did obtain valuable information, but we still don't have a plan of attack.
This gives us an opportunity, I think. Let's talk with Fulgrath, if we can again. I don't know if... It was never described to us that there was a list of hopefuls sent to Zeltroif. So if this information gets out that they're, shall I say, front-loading the potentials for a match with Zeltroif, it shakes the whole dynamic of what these people believe they've agreed to, and changes the dynamics of, I'll just call it a lottery. Wouldn't you agree?
I don't know if he would even be...
But Fulgrath would know if there was communication, and if there was widespread information about this sort of thing, right?
I suppose that's fair. I mean, it's the best thing we can do with what we gathered.
Well, I think we can we can certainly predict that the three of us have an opportunity to return there. I would like to lay a trap of my own in case he's in his human form. It hopefully should knock him on his back. But
Should
I
we
think that's
show
about.
him the list of women that we have?
I think we should start with just a questionnaire. Just ask Fulgrath what he knows about the selection process and then work from there. Let's not reveal our hand before we've had a chance. You know what I mean?
Perhaps we could do some recon, not approaching the women themselves, but at least finding out who they are. I know we don't really plan on him making it to town, but we can't account for everything.
I don't know, Zamira, Kira, do you see what I mean? Maybe I'm the only one who picks up on this, or the only one who suspects
it.
No,
I agree with you. We should definitely talk to him about that.
The idea that there's a preset list of hopefuls sent to Zeldroif before the ceremony defeats the purpose and squanders the hopes of dozens and the beliefs of everyone that we've heard from.
Unless they don't know about it.
That's what I'm saying. It's more exclusive. It's some underhanded agreement by...
They believe that it's open to everyone.
That everyone has a shot.
Someone's involved, is what you're saying.
But we don't necessarily know that he always chooses from that list. I mean, he's been doing this for years. And I'm sure they probably... You don't know if this could be a first time. I'm not saying I disagree with your plan. I think we do your plan, but we don't know that he always follows their suggestions either.
That's the second part, Samara. I think if there's anyone who would know if many of the matches over the years has been skilled or at least gifted and yet untrained in the arcane, it would be Fulgrath. He would know. He's been paying attention longer than most. But if he hasn't made that connection yet, which I imagined if he did, he would have told us, then perhaps we can bridge that connection and we can get a better understanding of why this ceremony is so foreign to us, and indeed why maybe, if what my suspicion is true, misleading to the people, the general people of Ophila.
DM, correct me, or I could be wrong, I guess I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Is there any other information other than a list of names? Is there any information besides who the girls are? Anything about them?
Just that they show an aptitude for the arcane, whether it's in study, in practice, or just raw skill.
No, like identifying qualities that are the same.
That's the only thing that links them that was listed in the note.
Okay.
Right, but what I'm saying is Fulgrath could confirm that.
Hopefully. I suppose that's the best thing we can do with the information we acquired.
We could also...
My hope is if anybody's skilled in the arcane, he's aware.
We could also probably ask Amara what her daughter was interested in specifically. We know she'd be willing to help us.
Now you're thinking with portals.
I worry that might tip our hand a bit much. We don't know how strong her constitution is if someone were to lean on her asking questions about us. We know she agrees with our plight, but we don't know how she would stand up.
We know that she at least has the wrath of a mother whose child was taken from her, and that's... I kind of have faith in that.
Let's try maybe a slightly different angle. It's probably too forward to ask to look through her daughter's belongings, but if there's anything left, is it too much if we take a look and see whether or not she was studying?
Why don't we just ask her if her daughter had a magical aptitude?
What her daughter was interested in, what got her name on the list in the first place, if Amara knows about the list.
No list. There's no... Let's ask Fulgrath first if he has any knowledge of any list, because I doubt it. I'm starting to think that maybe even Kalu doesn't have an idea about the list.
I think
That general seemed
Amara,
awful disgruntled. Yeah.
I think we just need to ask her if her daughter had a magical aptitude, and that's about it.
Yes.
Well,
Maybe
wait.
throw in a few other questions, but nothing about the list.
Well, wait. Let's assume that the girls that Zamira spoke to are this
Generous.
year's list. Let's assume that, correct? Sure. So we could ask Amara, but there would have been a similar group of girls in her daughter's year. We could ask Amara what they all have in common. I think Amara is our best chance for someone who's going to be neutral.
I'm just not sure how we would go about wording that to not give away too much.
Kita, I think I'd disagree. I think Fulgrath would be our best chance for somebody to be... We know he's a bit... using the word biased is obviously defeats my statement here, but we know he opposes what's going on here. But he's tuned in to so much. Amara has heartstrings, pain, and the loss of a lover tied to it.
I almost
Neutral
believe
is definitely not
that the
word of choice.
heartstrings give us perspective.
I'm not saying it's not worth asking her, but I think we should do so carefully.
I
And
agree.
I think Fulgrath is the one who's paid attention to the history, potentially, and also paid attention because it was kind of his wheelhouse to people skilled in the arcane.
Well, sure.
I think we tackle both at once. Why don't we split a bit?
Divide
Kita,
and conquer again.
Divide and conquer once more. Kita, I think Amara's... You've got the best connection with her.
I agree.
Right? Zamira, why don't we go shake up Fulgrath? See if he knows anything about this whole list business. Let's be subtle about it at first, but if it turns out that he doesn't know, let's brief him on it. See what he thinks.
You want me to shake him?
No, I meant let's start from the top and ask if he knows anything about...
Akari.
I don't do humor well.
Zamira's got jokes!
She does, and then she's way ahead of the curve on me.
I'm learning.
Was trying to learn from Scholar, but he's a piece of dry bread. So.
Oh, Jesus.
That's kind of a joke. Good job. Ish.
He's a piece of unpolished brass. Literally.
That's
that wasn't
We'll
a joke.
work on it. We'll work on it. We'll hit some comedy clubs after this is all over.
Comedy club?
Like a bard who stands up and, what's wrong with ship food?
Bard?
What's the deal with ship food? They don't.
Yeah,
it doesn't
what's
taste
the
like
deal
food.
with... Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's.
Okay.
Let's go,
That's
Akari.
That's more mysteries than I think we need right now, Kidai.
Now we're double splitting the
Someday.
Are
party.
you
It's
good
for
with
later,
Amara,
later.
Kidai?
Yes.
Okay.
I will happily go and speak with her. Apparently.
Let's get this done. Find out what we can. Doggo in the background just... DM, we've now split into 3 groups. Congratulations.
Title of the
Got
episode.
my own group.
Yep.
I'm my own damn group.
So we'll start with you, Kidai.
Okay.
You...
You heard her, I swear to God.
If I what?
Nothing. I was threatening you, but it's fine.
You V-line straight towards the baker's house.
V?
B.
V-line?
B-line.
You've never heard that before?
No,
it's B. It's B.
There's-
As in
It's
like the
B-line.
bee buzz buzz.
It's beeline.
always
As
said
they fly
V-line. So do
in the-
people at work always say V-line.
You're all wrong.
Yeah, it's a
V-line
beeline.
is something very
How
different.
many
Matt.
people at work say V-line? Matt?
A lot of people.
How many of your
Can we get a chat
Lot
prediction on
meaning
this?
I don't know.
three?
Actually,
Just 1
that's
second.
a good thing to vote on.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No,
Who-
that's a poll, not a prediction. That's a poll.
Who cares? Let's move on.
I care.
Okay. We V-line our way?
You make your way towards
Make it.
the baker's
Yes, I do.
house.
You're right.
As you approach, you can see the warm glow of the hearth from the inside of the baker's oven. You walk up this small flight of stairs until you enter in, and you can see Amara is baking some sort of dinner for herself. She looks up. Oh, Kira, I wasn't expecting you. Let me throw one more in, and I will make you dinner.
Oh, you don't have to worry. I just came to stop by, say hi. Actually, if you don't mind, I have a question or two.
I'm all ears.
DM, just to clarify, when she's baking dinner, is it just one dinner that she's baking, or does it look like more than?
It looks as if she has some sort of pot pie in her magical oven that you guys had used, and
Like a personal pot pie, or like a
small.
she has company pot
like-
pie.
like a small personal pot pie.
Cool.
And you can see
Okay.
she is grabbing like a small clay bowl and throwing in some veggies and what looks to be small chunks of uncooked meat, and then like wrapping a pastry dough over the top of it to throw in for you.
Okay. Amara, forgive me. I know with the time of year, it's not an easy subject to broach, but I just can't help thinking about your daughter after we spent that time with you, assisting in her kitchen. Would you mind? Would you tell me about her? I'd love to know.
She was kind, wise beyond her years. She had a certain glow about her when she entered the room. She was able to make friends and, well, everybody loved her.
I can tell I would as well, if I had gotten the opportunity to meet her.
I wish
Can
you
I
would
ask,
have.
though? I do too. Can I ask, did she have... I don't quite know how to phrase this. Did she have any special hobbies? Anything interesting outside of what you would do together?
She was very academic. She kept up on her studies. She spent her afternoons working at Fran's store, learning the inner workings of enchantments. Wanted to study under her as an apprentice, but
I didn't realize she knew Fran as well. We've been speaking with Fran a couple of times.
everybody knows Fran in town. She's very,
That makes sense, yeah.
she's very old and very talented.
So, was Amara, you said her apprentice?
She wanted to be, hadn't quite made it there just yet.
But she knew... I mean, I know you said she studied. Did she study the sort of mystical art side of things? Shh.
I mean, she had an aptitude for these sort of
Important.
things, I guess. Much unlike myself, I've never tried to do more, but she like waves her hand through the air and like small little sparkles just glow throughout the air.
You have to teach me how to do that. My fireworks are so bad.
I don't know how to do much, just simple things. Heat the oven, heat the water.
Well, Amara, I trust you, and I trust that if I was in your position, I would want any information related to what happened to my daughter.
There's, I understand. I've accepted what happened, whether it's easy or not. I still miss her, but
We have reason to believe that those being chosen to be a wife of Zeltroy have an affinity much like your daughters.
what makes you think that?
Studying past wives and those that I mean, we've noticed that there's a group of young ladies readying themselves. And I was wondering if that was this, if the same was true for your daughter, if there was a group, or if she was chosen out of the blue.
Make a deception check for me.
That wasn't deception.
You told her you were studying past wives. You guys haven't done any of that.
I've been asking around.
But you guys haven't studied any of them.
That's
a lie, Kidai.
it's a white lie.
There's a very fine line between deliberately lying and unintentionally lying.
Yeah,
She's
you're
telling the truth
right.
as far as she knows it.
Deception?
I'll set the DC lower, but I'm still having you roll.
It's a 17.
You don't see any change in her demeanor, so you get the sense she believed you.
Okay.
And just out of curiosity's sake, why are you looking into the past chosen?
Well, I mean, you know that we've told you. We don't quite trust what's happening here.
I understand, but I mean no insults to you and your friends, but we're all powerless to change any of this.
We are
And
hoping that there's somebody, or maybe a group of somebody's that's not powerless.
And I hope you're not doing it on my account. I've come to terms with this.
No.
This is our way of life.
Amara, as much as I understand, I am also trying to understand from your vantage point. I just need to know all that I can to make the right moral decision on where to lie. You know, as an outsider, this seems very foreign, but I understand that it's not my culture, that it is something that you guys have lived with here for a long, long time. And if there's nothing for us to change, then I need to be able to stick up for that side as well. So information is key. If I know all that I can, then I'll stand for what I think is right. It's not necessarily that I'm protecting you or doing this in memory of your daughter. I just don't fully understand yet.
Wish I had more information.
That's okay.
Just be careful. You go around asking too many questions. The wrong people might take this, and I'd hate to see anything bad happen to you.
And I to you. You've struck a chord with me, and I would hate to see anything happen to you as well, so but I do trust you. As someone to give us information, feeling on what it's like being a part of the culture, so I do appreciate what you've given us. The new perspective.
Well, you have time to eat?
I'd love a meal, if you don't mind.
Should be done any minute now.
Well, thank you for the invitation.
She proceeds to tell you just more generic stories about her daughter.
Nothing identifying?
Nothing that stands out to you.
All right.
So we go back to Larry and Mo over here.
Which Larry and which Mo?
Yeah, there's two groups now.
It's two Larrys
There's
and
two
two
groups
Mos.
of two.
Zamira and Akare.
I'm more of a Marx brother than a Three
We
Stooges.
trisected the party. This is impressive.
We'll be Groucho and Harpo, and they can be Larry and Mo.
I don't think you get to decide that. Akare, Zamira, what are the two of you doing?
Going to full graphs.
Yeah, we'll head off to full graphs. I suppose the regular question mark precautions, in the sense of like we'll see if there's, I don't know, anybody's paying super close attention. I can't remember what the situation last time we approached his door, but that was with the story as well.
I mean, there were guards that were posted out,
Right,
and on patrol, but none were paying like. You weren't being tailed as far as you could tell.
right. Same scenario. We'll just make sure we're not being tailed per se. Make sure nobody's paying stupid close attention to us. But we'd just like to make a visit to Volgrath. I mean, I suppose at this point, the way I would describe a DM is, unless the vibe is like we're pretty renowned characters at this point, visiting somebody who's interesting. If that's not the feeling, then we will sneak our way in. You know what I mean?
That's fine. Zamira, what's your passive perception?
I believe, it's 19.
God,
As you guys are walking across town towards Volgrath's Tower on the eastern side of the town, you're walking through the town square after breaking off with Kidai, and she's going towards Amara's home. You guys pass through the small little trade district where you get your enchantments and everything done, where you got your magical tattoos. And you can see down a side alley a small courier docking his horse at a stable. And you see the same elf, the tall, very muscular, broad shoulders of Loxus, handing over what appears to be a handful of pelts to this young courier.
Can I make out with my extensive experience what animal pelts these are? No, only Zamira sees this, right?
Only Zamira sees this unless she
Might
points
be.
it out to you.
Might be.
I would have pointed it out to him.
Okay. Ditto the question.
Shapes and sizes vary from elk pelts to small little hares, but hard to pinpoint from this distance.
Are they... Would we... My question doesn't... Okay, I don't know anything about this in real life. My question would be, are they pelts that look like they're prepared for trade? Or look like they're prepared for warmth and use?
Look like they're prepared for trade. And your understanding of everything here is that...
He's being paid.
Yes.
Okay. That's good enough for me. I'll just do my best, and I'll kind of elbow Zamira back in the rib cage and just be like, just remember his face. The courier elf, that is.
Will do.
You never know where we might run into him. But let's stay clear of that fiasco for now.
Ian, what was the name of the girl that gave us the tattoos again?
I might have it written down, to be honest. It's gonna take me a minute to find it.
I just gotta load the page.
Is it Kara? I don't know why I want to say Kara.
I think it is something close to that. Can't even remember the hell I have a filler written down. Here it is. Nope. I didn't write it down. Lol. My notes are not what they once used to be.
Well, I'm more asking, was it one of the girls on the list?
It was not one of the girls on the list.
Okay.
Trying
Never
to
mind
find
then.
where I had it in my notes because I'm trying to find Fran's name. Where the hell is Fran's name?
Well, if it's not one of the girls on the list, it doesn't really matter.
It was not one of the
anyway.
girls on the list.
Okay, that doesn't really matter. Not that your hard work and her name doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter to the question that I was going to follow up with. I do appreciate your hard work in naming all these NPCs.
So you guys are going to Fulgrat's house now, correct?
Yeah.
As you're
Well,
walking through
we're walking
town-
in the door because we're like right there, I think.
Yeah. You're walking through town and you don't see any guards paying any extra attention to you. You don't see anyone tailing you. Just peeking over your shoulder as you're walking through. You knock on Fulgrat's door. And after a few moments, you can hear this man in a familiar fashion almost stumbling down the stairs from inside until he eventually opens the door and he's almost like a little out of breath and is running down 2 flights of stairs. It's not the same as when you're this old.
Can't you
Seems
fly?
like the wizard could find a way to mitigate that.
Just because I can doesn't mean I always do.
Well, then don't complain.
Never said I was good at magic. Just
Please, pardon, Uncle. Can I call you Uncle? That feels weird. You know what? Let's not do that. Fulgrath, pardon my friend's decorum. Maybe we come in.
by all means. My home is your home.
We had a curiosity we wanted to pass by you. As we're getting deeper into this, we're discovering patterns. Maybe. Have you paid attention to the people who are chosen in the choosing? Is there any sort of pattern that you've seen emerge?
They're all women?
Yes, I'm beyond that. Sorry.
I never thought about it in extensive, long into it.
Hair color, height, hobbies, all the ages.
Yes, maybe those. Any correlation?
I'd have to sit down and go look at them over the last century.
Oh, look at them. Do you have a picture book?
I would prefer that you do.
It'd be more from memory. It's not like I write them down. The archive in Kalu's library, personal library, would have them all written down.
Yes. Let me... Zamiro. I think we just need to get to the point.
We need to get at that library.
Did you guys find something?
No, I think we get to the point of what we were coming here for.
Oh, was it about the list? I'm sorry, I haven't gone shopping yet.
No,
I also still need
the
the
list is-
coin, but aside the fact.
I'll get Kothar over here to do the coin very quickly. That's not... Sorry, Zamira, I'm just going to come out with it. Fulgrath, we've intercepted one of the letters sent to Zeltroy leading up to the celebration. It's from... I never wrote this down, so I still can't remember his name, but Akari
Loxus.
would. Loxus. Loxus?
Yes.
Weird ass name.
LOXUS.
Let me
Dude
write
we
that
just
down.
saw.
Yeah, well, no, that's not. Yeah, it was the same guy we just saw. My Ophila notes are way back before I passed because it was mentioned before I passed. I will just. Loxus seems to be not disgruntled, but we intercepted the courier who sends messages to Zeltroy.
Oh?
There's
So
a
you noticed because he looks around, goes over, like locks his door very quickly, and he's like, "Do we need to run?"
Fulgrath, if I was noticed, we're all fucked. Locking your door won't help.
Like, walks over to his bookshelf, starts picking up these chalks, and he's like,
Trust
"We need to go
that
now."
I and the rest of us did our best at being clandestine and recovering what we needed. But we return to you once more. There's a list written by him. And it doesn't appear... Well, your nephew, Kalu, sent a message alongside, but it makes no mention of it. This general mentions a list of hopefuls. A list skilled in the arcane. Can you think back on the previous choosings? Are all of those who are chosen skilled in the arcane or gifted starting?
Natural 1.
Shit!
Well, it's...
Did you use the white dice,
I did.
Matt?
I did.
Bullshit.
Damn it,
You didn't
Matt.
use the white dice.
I...
No way you did.
I mean, it's hazy. It's hard to say. It's possible. It would make sense. I know the most recent chosen was one that it showed maybe a little promise, but the rest, it might be a little bit too presumptuous of me to just assume all of them were without any concrete evidence.
So you weren't keeping tabs on anybody skilled in the city?
I mean, there's no offense if I've given the wrong impression. I want to free my people, but I am a simple doctor. I may have some skills in the arcane myself, but for practical purposes, not.
I understand.
So to say that I kept close tabs on everybody that was chosen, the answer's no. Looking at it back, probably smarter than I would have, but
It's okay. Samira, feel free to pipe in.
You mentioned that Kalu has a library. Is that in his tent?
in his building, yes.
Oh, whatever it is.
Yeah, there's a he has a small personal library in his own room. I wouldn't call it a library, it's more like a small den where he keeps all of his books that his father brought with him, or those that could be recovered after the crash. And I know that if Kalu's anything like his father, he keeps extensive notes on everything that happens.
Is there any time of day that may be easier for us to get in there to access that it would be unguarded?
I mean, I think Kalu's only ever there when there are meetings with his generals or when he sleeps. Otherwise, he spends his days out working amongst his people. For what he's worth, he is a good leader.
Well, in the notes we found, we did find out that he does believe his father to still be there and alive. At least he's not lying about that.
Right.
It's my hope
really
that
acknowledge
Torsion
that
still
when we
walks this
found
earth.
it. Gives me a little more faith in. I don't have faith he does. Sorry to be blunt. It gives me a little more faith in Kalu that he's not completely full of shit.
Misled, like the rest. Zamira, if there's a time for us to access that library, it would be during the night.
I thought you
I
just said
think.
during the day. He said when he sleeps and when he's having meetings.
I mean, we're guests during the night, so we could just slip out of our quarters. Whatever you want to do. I presume this would be a you and me mission, because anybody else would see themselves seen. You
Is it
know,
where we're sleeping?
It is in
What?
his room. So
Yeah,
you guys haven't seen in there yet because the door's
oh,
always
in
been
his
closed.
room. Sorry, I missed that. Might be.
Yeah, it's a
So
small
we
den
need-
inside his room.
So we
Okay.
need to go now. Let's go do that.
If you want to make it interesting,
What
sure.
time of day
Let's
is
do
it?
now.
I don't know. You don't have key mind.
Is it dark? Is it getting dark? I'm not asking
It
for a
is.
particular time.
It is getting into
Dusk,
the late after. It is
dusky,
getting into the late afternoon at this time, about supper time.
but not bedtime yet.
Supper, afternoon tea, afternoon
Second
tea,
breakfast.
something like that. Yeah. Zamira, if you want to, we can.
See what else we have to do right now.
This is I have to be honest, between you and me, and I'll look at full graph. I think this is kind of our point of no return. I'm not sure that Ophelia can offer us any more answers. I think we're dead set on our path. But if we do this, and we're caught, Samira, it's over. And Ophelia for us.
One of us can be a lookout while the other one goes in. I think you're better off going in and I can wait outside.
I'll be honest,
I
Samira,
can
I
cause
can't.
one hell of a distraction.
Zamira, I can't say if I'm ready to let go yet. If we get
Well,
caught, that's it.
Then you don't have to do it.
There's
Go find Kidai and I'll go do it, and if I get caught I'll say you had no idea. I'll take the fall for it. You don't have to worry about it.
no,
I
that's
don't blame you for not wanting to leave your family after you just got
That's-
them back, and I won't
that's not
ask you to do something that you think would jeopardize that.
that's not acceptable either. I won't
No,
leave you
but
to dry.
I'm not
No.
gonna throw you away when you're
I
not ready
watched-
to leave yet.
I watched that happen in Singara. I won't do it again.
I'm
Dole
just
didn't
saying you
deserve
don't.
it. Dole did not deserve it, and neither do you.
I can get
It's
away.
not you. I don't doubt it, Zamira.
What happened? Dole's fate will not be my fate. Trust me on that. I can get in there and get out, and I can take care of myself if I don't get out. But we need to find our answers. And we're running out of time.
Okay. Then
Could
take
wait.
this. And I will unfurl Emeraf to her.
What's that again?
If you have an attunement slot and you can attune to it, you can get advantage on a stealth roll of your choice.
What is it though? Like what type of?
It's a bow. Longbow.
Don't have a. I could unattune to my band.
Your
Technically,
stealth
I don't
now.
really need. Yeah, I don't really need my ring.
If you're doing this,
currently.
if you're really serious about doing this, you're stealth.
Yeah, I can take off the band and put it on.
That's up to you. But Akari
It's
holds
fine.
it
I
out.
don't need the band for a little bit.
Yeah.
How
But
do you spell
Akari
it so I
holds
can
it out
add
to
it?
you. EMMO ARTH. Emerath.
Found it.
MO Arth. Whatever.
Okay, I got it.
You're gonna Akita, you're gonna need all of it. Or, God damn it, Zamira, you're gonna need all of it to get this done.
Thank you. I guess we'll leave the tower. Matt, could you hear any of that while you were away, or do we need to refill you on what's
Nope.
going on?
I had my headset off. I had to go check on Maddie real quick. What's your plan?
I gave her Amarath.
Did she attune to it?
Not yet.
I took off my band and put it in my attunement, but yeah, I'm gonna go attune to it, and then I'm gonna go.
Just so you understand, if you remove your band, it removes all charges.
I think it only had like 2 or 3 upon my last count.
It is a charge a day since you last used it, so it should have more than 2 charges.
I thought I had 2 or 3 was the last I had counted up, but maybe it was more. No, it's fine. I've got to have it, and I can't remove the other things.
Okay.
But I'm gonna give it back to him once this mission's done. But
Okay.
it takes what, 30 minutes to attune to it?
An hour.
And will it be dark by then?
Hard to judge.
We just said we need to do it during the day, right?
Okay, well I'll go attune. I'll attune to it.
Zamira, maybe we should bring Kita around. Maybe not today is the answer, but maybe tomorrow. Maybe she can help in some way. She's got a lot of tricks, most which I haven't seen. We don't have to do this right now. We have the next couple days. Scholar and Kothar and Astoria are all the way over in High Pass. We have time. And unless you want to lay traps...
I feel like them being gone in a way gives, if I get caught, gives the rest of you much more plausible deniability. Say that you had nothing to do with it and didn't know about it. If they're all here, it's much more suspect that the group as a whole will be blamed.
I know what you said to me. And I understand and accept it as reality for now, but if it... Samir, if it ends up like that... If it ends up like Dole...
It won't end up like Dole.
Let's hope you're right.
Faster than these silly boys.
Maybe Kita has some way of... I don't know. Making you look like a fairy. Or some crazy stuff.
Make me invisible?
I don't know. Let's go find
her
out.
and ask.
You guys spend the time looking for Kidai. We'll go back to our other group. We find Kothar, Scholar, and Astoria diligently working on putting together and finishing installing the new arm on this new automaton. You guys have taken the time to reroute the circuits while taking a little bit longer than you would have hoped. A majority of the afternoon to rework this one, as it's a bit more intricate than the simple workhorse one. But you guys now have 2 robot exoskeletons at your disposal. Astoria looks to the 2 of you. Shall we go get our crystal?
No, I was thinking we could stay here a while. It's such a nice lab.
Guess if you want to rest.
I think that it's time for the crystal. Yep, he's trying to lend sarcasm. Sorry, you missed that conversation.
You weren't up. Well, I guess I didn't create you.
That was a joke.
Scholar? I'll give you props for that one. That was good.
I felt something on the wind that left me with an itch.
Can you
That
feel
joke
the
seemed
wind?
to scratch it.
I've always wanted to ask.
Yes. I have sensation.
You always wonder if whenever you create something that's supposed to work in a certain way, but you have no way of verifying if it does, if it actually works.
Let me put it this way. I perceive what I feel. I feel what I perceive to be wind. Whether it is perceived in the same way that you do, I do not know.
While it leaves a sour feel to it, but while I wish this conversation was being held with Anokai, it is nice to understand maybe a little bit the way you and he experience the world. And I'd love to sit down and pick your brain on matters like these. But when we have the time, when this is all said and done.
When we have time.
And she smirks, and if we're all still alive at the end of this.
You make a good point. Could I perhaps ask you one question, considering the risks?
If I have the answer?
I think you do. When you look at me, what do you see?
Answer?
Yes.
Second-rate version of my own creation. But I also see a man, or more than a man, someone that's different, special in his own right. There are aspects about you where I can see that they were drawn from my design, but there are also things about you that I can see you have added your own flair to them, your own marking. It makes you unique, and I find it intriguing. But I also see places that I could have done.
I find your analytical view helpful, but you answered my question more specifically than I would have liked. I would also counter that I am not second rate, I am third rate, as I am the third generation.
Yes, that is true.
Perhaps I did not explain my question appropriately. How would you identify me in the grand scheme of things?
As what?
What would you call me if you put me in a group of many like me? What would you call me?
I'd call you my...
A man?
If that is what you wish to be called.
I'm fortunate to have the choice. But
some don't.
That is a secondary label for us because of the choice we have. But I accept your answers. Thank you. Also, that was brutal.
Sorry.
I'm sitting over here taking notes for the scripture I'm going to bring back to my people. I'm going to have to write that one at the top.
I'm sorry. She does see you as a friend.
Second-rate friend.
Yeah.
When you build something yourself and someone tries to copy it, you always think yours is better.
I'll save my meta analysis for when my dissertation is complete.
Kothar will resist the urge to swing axes.
You would notice, so for the more perceptive in the group, like Scholar is capable of showing like signs of emotion. He's not completely, he's just a very like a highly logical creature, but he has a sense of emotion. and it would have been completely flat in response. Not like no up, no down, just complete flat.
I would have absolutely loved if I was there. Slash Akari slash AD001 slash Anokai, yada yada. But alas, the final moment to shut down my newfound friend.
So, time to get some crystal?
Hell yeah, brother.
Not that type of
While
campaign.
we walk over there, I feel I should. I meant no harm in what I said, Scholar. And I hope you don't take that to heart.
I do, but only because the facts must be collected. I have access to a source of information that no other of my people has ever had, and a source of information they will be quite keen to understand. I need the unbridled truth, if you can provide it. Please do not shield my feelings.
I would love to see your people someday. Are they all like you? Is it a city of... I think you said already, it is a city of people like yourself, yes?
Yes.
That sounds like a place that I would much love to visit.
If you find me second-rate, I fear that you would not be impressed by later generations.
I fear my words are poorly chosen. I find you to be different, but not better, in a sense.
I think you use the term second-rate rather cavalierly in that case. However, there is a fiscal distinction. I am the most superior in technical design of all generations that succeeded AD001. My cost was somewhere in the millions of gold pieces to assemble. Later generations, perhaps the tens of thousands. Their design was made to be more economical and mass producible. So while I am second-rate, you might find the rest of my people third, fourth, and fifth-rate. Please do not be disappointed.
I'm not disappointed. In fact, I'm a little impressed by your sheer knowledge of the inner workings of what was once just a hope built in a workshop in a small hill in the middle of nowhere. And now my creation has turned into a whole city of people, of walking, breathing. She gives you like a questioning look, and living organisms.
We have the capacity to breathe if that particular person desires, but it is not necessary. And we often ponder the question if we are truly living.
You ask me, I'd say you're living. Have your own will, your own wants, your own needs.
I will offer an analogy. I assisted in the crafting of many, many thousands of my people. I pale in comparison, if only because it is much easier to paint a masterpiece if you can look at that very masterpiece while you paint it. However, there is a certain spark, a soul, as it might be called, that even I don't fully understand how it was able to work. You say, I am living, but how does one define living? How does one define soul? How does one tell if the soul is genuine or only perceived to be genuine, or even further, only a facsimile of genuine. There are many logical traps involved in the question that cannot be answered. Not by myself, at least.
Scholar, I'd say just by the fact that you have such questions that you're more living than most.
Some scholars agree that consciousness is the ability to recognize one's own self. I am conscious, but that does not necessarily mean I have a soul.
I've seen the way you interact with your friends, the way you talk, act around Edokai. Whether you have a soul or not, I cannot say, but she looks over to Kothar. You're every much as living as this man standing next to us. I think that has a little to say about if you have a soul or not.
Let me offer another analogy to challenge your assertion. You can feel heat from fire, and you can also feel heat from light, but that does not mean they are the same thing.
But aren't they, though? Fire is just a source of energy. Light is just a source of energy. It's the way it...
With different sources.
But with the same fundamental values.
You make a valid point, and one I will consider.
Well, we'll have plenty of time to discuss all of life's questions when we're all still alive and off this island.
I would like to have further discussion before the conflict, so that I might write and record.
I'm sure we'll have plenty of time when you take me to see that city.
Of course.
He looks over. Kothar, you and the automatons don't mind we get the rock back up to the lab, or is it going to be something that we need to work on down here?
Is it something we need to disable? I know you'd mentioned that previously.
It would be preferable. It probably... If it malfunctions at all, I don't think any of us want to end up adrift in the Astral Sea.
Sure. How do we disable it?
There should be a power core below the pylon. A chamber of sorts that we'll have to go into, and we'll need to remove the battery, as well as disconnect all of the connectors for the redundant batteries.
This isn't the one I ripped the battery out of, is it?
This is the one ripped the battery out of. She doesn't know that.
Do you mean this battery? And I'll pull it out of the bag of holding very slowly.
But that come from this pylon.
Yeah.
Yes, it's mostly done besides the latent energy.
I mean, it should be at least safe enough to approach to double check those redundant systems you mentioned.
Yeah, I'm sure we could easily... the latch to get beneath into the core chamber is just behind, or should, assuming it's still intact, should be just behind.
I mean, unless something's messed with it. It was intact a while ago.
Let us go take a look. She kind of follows you, and you lead her around back to where that small room was. Open up the hatch, walk down the stairs into the core chamber, and she looks at it, and she just kind of like waves her hand through the air, and a bunch of the wires begin to detach from the underside of where the crystal is. And the hard part's going to be getting it out of the ground. I think if we put you down here, pushing from beneath, and the two up top pulling, should be able to dislodge it. Part I'm worried about is if there's a cave-in. I don't want you to be buried down here.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I can hold my breath for a while, so like assuming the two robots can dig me out, I should be alright.
That's good to know. Makes me feel a little bit better. I will do my best. I can put a small magnetic pull on it to try and
30 seconds until
alleviate
this prediction.
some of the effort on you. But you are our counterweight. You are the force that's going to hold it in place while they maneuver it out. So a lot of it relies on you.
Can I look? Are there any pieces, large pieces of metal in the area?
Yeah, there's large pieces of metal in the area.
Could I see if this, it's a magnetic. The pylon is a magnetic piece, correct?
Yeah, it creates like a gravitational field around it, and then when they all work in conjunction, they create such a gravitational field around the city to where it can shift between the planes.
Understood. Could I try to just very quickly try to apply an electrical current to the piece of metal and perhaps give some magnetism to it to help put some pull on it? Would that be possible?
With what? What are
Electricity
you doing?
and rocks.
But what are you
That's
using?
all I got.
What are you using to provide electricity?
I don't know. I got something.
Would you like the battery?
That would be ideal. Thank you, Kothar.
Change it. It's not 2 minutes.
And I have a bunch of scrap. I want to see if I can just pull. I should have a significant amount of wiring from the laboratory in my scavenging. So I just want to pull something together. Do like a triple, run some exposed wire around a piece of metal very quickly, and then attach a current to the battery and with some polarity to it, the correct polarity to it, to create positive magnetism, and then flip that sucker on.
Go ahead and make a tinkering check for me.
Sure. And I'm going to keep my finger on the positive wire in case there's a really significant shift all of a sudden. I'll just rip the wire off.
Are you staying below with Kothar?
I'm going to be near the piece of metal that I'm hoping to use to create magnetism.
Okay.
So I don't know, mind's eye, I don't know where that is necessarily.
So you guys are kind of sitting in a large circular chamber. The outside walls are metallic in nature and they kind of go up into a point. And at the point, you can see the underside is the crystal that kind of comes down maybe about 5 feet into the chamber and has these copper and aluminum wires that are kind of hanging off with a bit of insulation on all of them. And they're all kind of braided together down to where the center cylinder was, where that core sat. The core has since been removed, so there's no power source going towards them, but there are small bits of, residual power that was keeping this somewhat active, but not nearly as active as it was. So the metallic parts that you could kind of connect to would be, any parts on the wall or even the part around the top of the chamber that are kind of holding it in place.
Muted act.
I said I'm gonna do the floor, and I'm gonna ask Kothar if his shoes are wet.
No, why?
This may sting slightly.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if this is real, but I'm gonna fucking try and make an electromagnet out of the floor to help assist in pushing.
Make a tinkering check for me.
It's gonna be a 24, but have we had a short rest?
You have not had a short. Well, you could have said you had one.
Oh, it's on a long rest anyway. Fuck it. I'm gonna use Flash of Genius for a 29.
Okay. So, Astoria gets the two golems on the top side of the transient pylon set in place, and then she calls out with her message cantrip, to the two of you. They're in place. They have a hold of it. When you're ready, we'll begin to pull.
You know what? I'm going to throw a couple pieces of latex at Kothar, or a couple pieces of rubber at Kothar and tell him to put them in the soles of his shoes.
Does Kothar wear shoes? I think we've been through this.
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh. You're about to fucking get a surprise, buddy.
Ride the lightning.
So you go ahead and she was pretty much waiting on your signal, Kothar, so unless you tell me differently, I assume you're just holding in place.
Yep. I will shout as loud as I can, 1, 2, 3, and then I will rage and push.
Okay, strength saving throw for me.
I will connect the wire.
Deadlift, baby. That wasn't technically an intentional roll, but sure, 21.
So as she releases the or sends out this pulse of magnetism through it, and you can feel it kind of, a tinge in the air, like a tingling almost, as the large transient pylon becomes dislodged from the two on the other side pulling at it, and her kind of helping in whatever small manner she can. And you just feel the weight of this massive crystal just fall on you, and it's just... If they weren't holding the other end, it would crush you to the ground. So you're sitting there just almost like Atlas, holding this massive thing above you, above your shoulders, and sitting there. And then Scholar attaches the polarity, and all of a sudden your legs go numb from the electricity running through them. And they begin to almost buckle under your weight. So you kind of like fall to one knee while you're holding it there. And then it begins to get lighter as you're sitting there. You come back up to a full stance and are able to lift it up, and then all of a sudden it begins to get lighter and lighter as the two golems are slowly lifting it and pulling it out. And then it begins to go to the side, and you can see that as they're pulling it to the side just to get it out of the way to alleviate the hold you have on it, it is now up above where you can hold on to it. So you let go, and the golems are just ripping this massive crystal up out of the ground. And then the edges of it, the outside of the crater, as pulverized as they are, sand begins to pour in.
Time to go!
I need you to both make dexterity saving throws.
Cool. I misread the Ring of Evasion earlier. It doesn't give me evasion. It allows me to choose to succeed a dexterity saving throw 3 times a day. So I added back the damage, but just for future reference.
Oh, if he would have been damaged, I would use the healer's kit charge on him.
It was
But it's only 5. It's
5
not
damage.
Oh, well then, no, never mind.
Save it. That's a 17.
It's an 18.
You narrowly escape being buried alive by the sand as it comes pouring in. And you guys, it comes down pouring in, and you're almost just getting like a shower of sand at one point. You just turn, Kothar's like, we gotta go. And you guys go to dart out, and Kothar is the first person that kind of gets out the door, and he's huge. And as Kothar's like climbing up out of this staircase, the sand is like almost up to your kneecaps, Scholar, at this point. But you guys are able to make it out just in time before being completely buried alive by all the sand rushing in from the pulverized ground above where the transient pylon was sitting.
I was going to say I'd drag his ass out if I had to.
But you guys narrowly escape.
Relations.
Listen, I think you could do with a little bit of, like, sand polishing, so maybe that would have been useful.
Sand and brass, unfortunately, do not go well together.
Oh, okay, sorry. I'm just, like, like metal sanding. Never mind.
It has the capacity to create microabrasions, which affect the tensile strength of the metal.
If you say so.
A fine cloth.
Like silk?
Cotton.
I was gonna say that's one expensive kind of... So the crystal's out.
I like continue on. It needs to be mildly absorbent.
Astoria calls out with her message cantrip once more. Are you both okay?
I will turn and look at her now that we're on the top.
Yeah, you guys come out and just kind of like come up over a small little bit of a ruined building and can see her.
Yes, we're okay!
So you're both good. Okay, I was worried. The sand poured in very quickly.
Yeah, we're a little tougher than we look.
Can I make a snap judgment based on the strength of the two golems, the strength of Kothar, and the relative magnetism, and see if I can get a rough estimate of weight on this thing?
Go for it.
Just a raw dog intelligence check. That's a 24.
You're looking at about a 16-ton crystal.
16 tons?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going anywhere. I'll say
I don't think it's
I'll
going
look at
fucking
it.
anywhere.
I'll
Cast
look-
reduced.
I might have that actually. I'll look at the story and I'll say, we were successful in retrieving the crystal, but we may have a separate issue.
This was the issue that I explained long before, is how to transport it.
Analytically speaking, we have two options, I think. 3. The first being to carry it regardless, though I think the time involved would make it less viable as an option to set a trap.
If you're okay
is to
with
attempt-
the damage happening to the golems, they can get it there. The state they're in afterwards, who could say?
I have a suggestion. What if we had 4 individuals carry it?
I guess it depends on the strength of those individuals and
The 2
their
golems,
resilience.
myself, and Dwayne.
The rock.
We're talking 32,000 pounds.
The Rock has a 28 strength.
Could the Rock just carry it himself?
I doubt it.
I think you have to take into account how huge the rock is too. I think strength is relative to size there.
Gargantuan.
Yeah.
I'm looking up carrying capacity just for shits and giggles, but I feel like this is so far beyond anything. The carrying capacity of a creature with 28 strength is 1,200 pounds.
Yeah, but
By
that's a regular. Because you have to double it for every size they are.
Oh, okay, so double for large, that's 2,400. Double for huge, that's
48.
4,800. So we're
So
talking
9,600 pounds.
9,600. We are 1/3 there.
That's just with
I
the
feel
rock.
like there's
though.
a difference in lifting and carrying, though.
That's true, and there is
The lifting capacity of a exoskeleton is also greater than that of human or whatever you want to call it. Flesh and blood.
The logistics of having a gargantuan bird hover at low level to assist, like the Rock can't exactly put it on his shoulders and just tuck in with the rest of the boys. Like, it's either the Rock or others.
Or you just make a pulley system. You guys decide what you want.
All the way to Ophila. So a character can push or drag up to 5 times its maximum weight, but that's not carrying capacity. That also
Oh, so the Rock could drag it.
could drag it, but I believe it's half speed when it's dragging. And
Motherfucker got a lot of speed to burn.
the logistics question is, what's its walk speed? Because you can't drag while you're flying. It's got to be full carrying capacity when it's flying. And then how many, it's like 60, 70 miles or whatever it is to
20?
Ophila. That's
20
20 miles
feet?
to Ophila.
No, 20
So it's-
feet.
So it's walking speed, so it's going to go 10 feet every 6 seconds, so 100 feet per minute. for 15 miles, 15, 20 miles.
Listen. Kothar has experience moving like large ships inland and offland. I'd imagine he would know to cut trees down to put under the thing.
It still raises the question of time. How do we get there in time, also sneak it in, and create a trap in 4 or 5 days?
Do you have the ability to reduce it?
Look, I know we're not talking in voice, but just for the sake of convenience.
I mean, this is all in character, but in like a very fast way.
Yes. I do have enlarge and reduce, but not until tomorrow.
And it lasts, what, a minute?
Yeah, yes, it does last a minute, actually. Weight is reduced to 1/8 of its normal, so that means 2 tons.
Fuck,
4,000.
Kothar could move that shit.
4,000 pounds?
Um,
You could drag it.
The rock could just carry it.
Hold on. Nope, I don't have teleportation circle. That would be cool, though.
yeah, I don't think this is gonna work.
I don't think so either. I've calculated a number of probabilities based on the discussion, and I think we might be best to adjust course.
Yeah, I think so too.
No, you're just on a delay. Never mind.
I don't want to sound arrogant, but this was the concerns that I expressed from the beginning, was moving something of this magnitude.
Then we can pivot focus and
It can
retrieve
still
more
work
golems.
as far as what Fulgrath wants for it. After the dragon's defeated, if we reprogram it and work on it, it can be used to transport the village of Ophila to wherever he needs to, or to grant it the semblance of flight like the city of Ilzora had, should the people want that.
Indeed. But that will
But to
be
build
on
the
an
gravitational
extended
trap
timeline.
that you're hoping for Deltroid, I can do it. I just don't know how you're going to get it there.
Kothar's ideas about cut logs and rolling is probably the right one. Is there any chance we could reprogram the pylon itself to affect gravity around it and adjust its density to be lighter and allow it to be moved?
Now there's a thought. It could work. It is the general function of it. We would need to have a constant power source to it.
We have the battery, and I will pull the battery out from where I'd been using it. Would this work?
Well, that's what powered it before. I don't see why not.
Then we have a plan. Please forgive me for my cynicism before. Let us get to work.
I get it up to the lab first. Once we get it inside, the elevator will take it up. I just gotta get it there. Unless you want to just bring all the tools down here and we can work in the daylight and work
It's
on other things at
nighttime.
night and work on other things at night.
It's nighttime now, correct?
It's getting to be about sunset at this point.
Okay. Perhaps we can make a trip to get tools. I fear that any time we spend moving this, while it is this heavy, is not as efficient.
I agree. I know you have other things you wish to accomplish, as do I, and I need to retrieve a few things. So, why don't we, during the day, while we have daylight and light, we work on the pylon, and during the nights we tend to our own needs.
Indeed. If I may, I'd like to ask your assistance to expedite the process of brewing more of these, and I'll pull out the potion of wakeful rest. I only have one, but several will come in handy.
Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm no alchemist.
Understandably.
Volgrath, on the other hand, is a well-known potion maker.
Fulgrath is unfortunately far away.
Fortunately. You would have to travel back to Ophila. Which, by now, I'm sure Kalu's got guards out looking for me. So we're gonna have to figure out how we're dealing with that as well.
I do not yet know. I do have this potion. Perhaps I can drink it, travel back to the lab, and retrieve the tools. And we can start work in the morning.
Well, I only need half the night for rest, so I got a few more hours in me.
Very well. I accept your judgment on the best way to proceed.
Well, let's go grab some tools and materials then and get started.
Very well.
So as you both... Go ahead.
Oh, Kothar, would you like to attend with us, or would you prefer to stay?
Sure, I'll come with you.
Very well. I will order the automatons to come with us as well.
As the three of you and your two massive sidekicks follow up into the large chamber, the laboratory where Astoria has done most of her work. You gather up some tools, materials, things you might need. Astoria gives you all a small bite to eat out of rations that she packed and brought with her. We'll go back to the other three. The three of you now gathering and attempting to, I believe, go and infiltrate the den of the library where Kalu has all of his books. After picking up Kidai, you've shared a delicious meal and heard numerous stories about Amara's daughter. Say goodnight to her and you join with your two friends. They explain to you their mission or hopes of what's going to happen. So the three of you gather on the outskirts of the grove that sits across the street from where the house of Duranast is, where you guys have been staying. It's not unheard of for you guys to be here. This is where you stay, this is where you sleep. And it is sunset, so it is getting late. But you can see there's a gathering of guards with Kalu outside the front of the building. You all can overhear them talking, and it appears as if he's directing guards to begin search for Astoria. There's a sense of worry on his face that you can clearly see, Kidai. You're an insightful and perceptive person, so you can see there's a sense of worry on his face, but also a sense of rage in his eyes, like, where is she, why isn't she home, sort of thing. As he's barking orders at the various guards, they all run off in different directions to different corners of the city. So we're going to end tonight's session.
Ooh, right there at the cusp. Right at the cusp of greatness.
Rude.
Son of a biatch.
So spicy.
I tell you what, running a session with two different groups and two different places is a pain in the ass.
Rough, ain't it?
That was a fun session.
I like it.
It's fun, but every time I'm always like, am I spending too much time on one group? I need to go back to the other group, make sure they're doing their thing.
No, I thought you did a good job of finding good places to bounce back and forth.
No, that was good. That was a fun session. It was jam-packed.
Guys, thank you for joining us tonight. Unfortunately,
Pack jam.
Yet no combat. I almost feel like I'm teasing Zach because he finally has Smite as his character and has yet to use it for 4 or 5 sessions in a row now.
4. We leveled up 4 sessions ago and haven't had combat.
I know, I feel bad.
Well,
Mad?
you're gonna have
Do
Smite
you
for Zeltron,
though?
buddy.
Are you upset?
Am I upset?
No. Zach, you upset?
I think this is the longest I've gone without combat in literally any D&D campaign I've ever played.
Y'all had combat. You fought the golem.
It's custom elves.
No! No, because if you would have gotten that, you would have said that wasn't combat. You're only saying that's combat because you got less than that.
He hugged the golem. Let's just do downtime notes, Matt. Can we just do downtime notes for the next 4 days or so while we just deal with the finicky shit? And then, skip to like a day, like get to some combat? Because we made it through literally an evening during the session.
I understand, but I've accounted for that because of the amount of prep and build up there's supposed to be for this fight. So I know it might. I don't want to short the build up. I don't want to short you guys the build up to the fight.
This is for Zach's benefit. I'm loving the geeky shit, but for my boy Zach, he needs to whack.
Phrasing.
I want the build up to this fight to be as epic as it can be, so I don't want to short it.
That's also compounded with the fact that Zach is leaving at some point, eventually.
I've accounted for that.
Need to find a narrative hop-off point, so you can't. I mean, you can, but you can't. You know what I mean?
Guys, thank you for joining us this evening. We're going to call it a night. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned to our Discord. If you guys aren't part of our Discord, please join. We have a homebrew section. We got a D&D or a DM section. We got a dank D&D E&D
dank
section, which Emma Zamira here is the queen of, constantly posting D&D memes in there every day.
Not every day.
Come hang out, come talk to us. We post a bunch of homebrew shit in there, stuff that Zach and Aiden have created, stuff that myself and Hex have created, all kinds of different fun stuff. As well as, like, if you have questions as a DM, you can come hang out and talk to us. We can chat with you, answer questions, or just have general discussions. Like when new content comes out, our most recent discussion was about the spell Silvery Barbs, which I still think is the most busted shit in the world. But different day, different story. Guys, have a good night. Hope to see you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for hanging out. Thank